let's begin. I've clicked the button. We'll give it a moment. We're live. Lovely. Well,
oh no!
Welcome back, everyone. We are half a party today. Well, maybe we're over half a party because Ivar's technically MIA for a while, as in the player.
PC territory.
The character is actually still around. A bit of a rundown of what you guys did last session. You revealed some secrets to each other. You had a lovely chat. Revealed some of your hidden truths. And you slayed the Melangor, the legendary creature up in the mountains that was a tale of legend for the dwarves. One legend that Bell hadn't had much to do with, alas, but I'm sure that's going to change shortly. You slew it, you harvested it for some incredible pieces. One of those things was the meat of the Melangor, which once eaten raw, it gives you the effect of a hero's feast spell. And you guys decided to trade the heart of the Melangor with the king for some pieces of metal. If you guys remember, you got, I think it's 4 pieces of adamantium. And the king has organised a feast for you all. He says he's going to be showering you with gifts, trinkets and treasures. Aleria, you've already put to use the claws or the fangs? I can't quite recall. I think... Let me find it. I think it may have been the fangs. It sounds about right.
Yeah, fangs.
You've already put to use the fangs of the Melangor, placing them around in your hair, styling it as you do, being a bard. And that's a magical item that, if you recall, gives you advantage on intimidation against people who know about the Melangor. So mostly nobles, people in higher end of the political system. Pretty much everyone in Rulem, the Dwarven capital, know the Melangor. So you're going to be having advantage on intimidation checks with pretty much everyone at this feast that's been organised tonight. You guys have done some shopping. You've bought some things. You've had some rests. You've all had a long rest. A lovely long rest in some of the, not the most exquisite of resting of rooms that the Dwarven castle has. But they were nice enough. Stone beds with some duvets on them made for a decent long rest as you guys prepared yourselves for an evening of social interactions. Was there anything that you guys would have liked to have done other than shopping in the, say, maybe 6 or so hours between the morning when you got back and the beginning of the feast? I should also ask when you want to show up for the feast. Do you want to show up on time, fashionably late, early? What are we thinking?
The words right out of my mouth.
One does not arrive on time.
A wizard arrives precisely when he means to.
Unfortunately, Avelios isn't even a wizard, but he does hold himself to a wizard's standards.
Lovely.
What time does the feast start?
7 PM sharp. You're expecting at 7 PM, everyone's going to be in the hall, sat at their seats. That's when the king enters. Because obviously he has to enter in after everyone's already there. He doesn't sit around waiting for people to show up.
Okay. We should probably arrive before the king does.
Janus will arrive about 30 minutes before the feast starts.
Yeah, you guys can all arrive at different times if you wish. That's absolutely fine.
I would like to arrive approximately 3 minutes before the king.
Race him down the corridor.
I imagine you're going to be sat there like a stopwatch, kind of like tapping your foot. 3 minutes, 3 seconds, 2, 1. All right, let's go in. Okay. Anything else? Do you guys want to have been anything significant during your period of time before the feast? Any preparations? Any discussions about how you guys are going to act during the feast? Or are you just going to go for it?
Discussions about how we're going to act.
I mean, it's high society. You've got to impress.
Not going to mention the big demon.
I am myself. How much more impressive can I get?
The real question is, what are you guys wearing? I know Bellaric's going to have the Melingor fangs in his hair, but are you wearing the cloaks? Are you wearing the new furs that you've acquired? Or are you just going to go in your everyday adventuring gear that's been a little bit battered over the past couple of days? I'm sure you have some waistcoats that you can acquire from your ship if you'd like.
Oh yes,
There's
I
a,
think so.
there's a tailor's in town if you'd like to purchase some outfits. I imagine Janice is just going to go full plate mail as always, but
Yeah, I'll give it a bit of a polish. That's about it.
Nice.
Fancy.
Yeah, I'm gonna drop by the ship and peruse my wardrobe. This takes up most of the time before the feast.
Okay, I like the sound of that.
Yeah, I'm gonna attempt to take some of the underbelly fur, the lighter stuff that I think I have, and just make it into like a very easily sewn on, just sort of brim for the edges of the waistcoat that I'm going to be putting on. Something that can easily be taken off and then wrapped around a weapon, but looks very stylish
Okay,
right now.
sounds good.
And gonna get my stormy waistcoat. I think something with
Okay,
lots of lightning motifs in sort of like a kind of snowy white with all of the dark blue and like silvery lightning embroidered across it, with a big sort of almost they're waves on the back of it. There's like a scene on the silk, but the waves are in such a way that if you look at them right, they could possibly be snow-capped mountains, or they might be incredibly rough seas.
okay.
Very cool.
And a white shirt underneath.
What attire is Bellaric wearing for the feast? I must know.
So I think Novelios goes down to his ship to re-wardrobe. Bellaric is going to take a trip to the tailor's. It's
Grimloth's Tailor's, the finest place in town. He's a very stout dwarf, big beard. You can tell he's a good tailor because, well, for one, the clothes he's wearing. For two, the amount of tools that he has in his beard. He's got like all like like the leather stamps and the knitting needles and pretty much everything he's got is just stuck in his beard at the perfect angle. And as he's measuring you up, he's pulling them out of his beard, doing everything really swiftly and quickly. What are you getting?
Is this the guy that we got the cold weather stuff from?
No, that was a different shop.
Okay,
Oh no, yes, possibly. I forgot there was a tailor's already here, wasn't there? It might not be Grimloth's.
that's fine.
Well, it's Grimloth's now, okay? It's always been Grimloth's, for anyone wondering.
Same person.
Grimloth's tailors. Yes, he can also do you some of his finest things that he can do is battle ready high society equipment. He can do you leathers that look like proper suits, but is also a leather armor. He can do some really cool stuff. He can do it with plate mail, any type of mail that you're looking for, any armor. He can do his best to make it look like you're ready to attend a ball.
I'll make a note of the plate mail thing for Janice later. For now, I think we go for, again, kind of very delicate things, but all in kind of, I think, shades of purple, shall we go with today? And kind of maybe some fancy, like, shoulder, what they called, like, pauldrons,
Yeah.
to kind of give an element of, yeah, we've just seen battle, but they look amazing. So with kind of hints of armor and kind of usually Belaric's style is quite inward focused. It makes him look quite small and kind of unthreatening.
Mm-hmm.
This kind of draws him out a little bit, like kind of slightly broadened shoulders and is a bit more square as opposed to the really slim lines that he usually takes.
Okay.
So yeah, I think all kind of dark purples, inlays of gold. I think that does the job.
Lovely.
Yeah,
So
go with that.
I'm gonna change Janus's actually. We're going fancy.
really,
Jealous of
So
fancy.
Yes, for once.
Wow.
So Janus knows his armor inside and out, so he's going to do it completely himself because
Okay.
it's military armor as well.
Yeah.
But he's going to go full out. He's going to get all the dents out. He's going to get all the rust gone, all the mud gone. It's going to be as if the armor was brand new.
It's
It's
going
got
to be
all the.
blinding.
It's going to be all. It's going to have all the noble detailing, gold trims, gold detailings all over it, bright red plume, cape, fur around his neck, all done. It's going to have everything, all the pizzazz, as if the armor was brand new.
Lovely. So I kind of like to imagine that Janus, over the years, has kind of let. So I imagine on your armor, you have a symbol of your legion. If I remember correctly, it was the 5th?
7th.
The 7th Legion. Sorry. I like to imagine you had very proudly worn that crest upon your chest. But over the years, you kind of let it dull and decay to like become barely even visible anymore. And you managed to get it shining as the day it was new. What is the symbol of the 7th Legion? What would you like it to be?
Oh, that is an amazing question. I'm going to say it's going to be the symbol of. It's going to be. Fucking hell. A raptor. A raptor's head.
Okay. So you've got this symbol of a raptor's head that's emblazoned across the chest of your plate armor for all to see now. You guys are shopping today. Your clothes shopping, any shopping that you might have done in any of the shops. That's the word I'm looking for. Has been on the house. It's been graciously donated by the dwarves. They've already heard of your feats. Most of the people you have visited are people that are going to be attending the ball tonight, and they just want you guys to look incredible. They're happy to give you things, belay you with gifts, and you're walking through the streets doing this shopping. There are lots of people cheering you. You can't really go around anywhere without people cheering you and throwing flowers at you and trying to get autographs. And my screen's about to turn off. Let me just fix that real quick. But yes, you guys spend the whole time, unless you're sneaking around, being waylaid by fans, basically. But you managed to get everything done. You're looking your best. You're looking incredibly fancy. Alas, Wilson's busy tinkering. He's not going to attend the feast tonight. And and Eric. Parties aren't really his thing. He's going to be outside meditating in a patch of dirt, as he hasn't been allowed to really do much of that recently. Up in the snowy mountains, the snowy cold, he's going to entrench himself in his mushroom form and just do some meditation, I think. So, you make these preparations, and I believe, Janice, you're going in half an hour early? When were you going to show up?
I think maybe slightly before Evelios.
So like 3.5 minutes or like 5 minutes?
Yeah, we'll go with that.
3.5 minutes.
Yeah,
Okay.
like so we can get a better seat. No real reason.
I like to imagine you're both waiting in your rooms respectively, like looking at a clock. Like waiting.
Trying to second guess it.
So
when does it get dark in Rulem? Like, would it be kind of pre?
It's more summertime at the moment, so I think it's going to be. It's going to be the sunset has already started, so it's kind of like past sunset, but it's still relatively bright outside. But if you want to be sneaking around, it's something you guys could do. You do have a while before the party, after all.
Yeah, I've never turned up a little bit of sneaking around. Yes, in which case I would like to, please, if after getting decked out in very fancy things, I'm also going to add a half cape since it's on the house. Why not? I would like to try and find a kind of a bit of a sleazy sort of pub. I'm gonna pull the cloak a little bit, kind of like my old cloak a little bit closer around me so it's not all blaring everywhere.
Mm-hmm.
I'm gonna still stand out probably quite a bit amongst dwarves, but that's fine. Yeah, I would like to try and find a bit of a little bit of a sleazier pub, and kind of take a bit of a seat in a dim corner sort of thing. Try best I
Aragorn
can, go
style.
unnoticed. Yeah,
Yes.
full mood.
Go for it.
And I would like to try and wait the kind of people that I think are going to be lurking in these parts.
In a sleazy pub, people aren't going to recognise you as much. These are like the night shift dwarf workers, the miners. You know, they have a good crack and a good band to them, but they don't really pay much attention to the current goings on. So they may not be aware of who you are or the things that you've done recently. What are you particularly waiting for?
I would like to try and wait for particularly the moment that the sun sets, because that has always been the time that dealings occur, and I would like to wait for. I want to see who comes in this pub, and I want to try and keep an eye out for familiar face.
Okay. Well, you won't see a familiar face. So around the time of the sun setting, someone dwarf doesn't look very standout. He doesn't look particularly interesting. Walks past your table and he kind of like hits his hit into it, knocks it slightly. So, oh, sorry, friend. And he walks off. And you're like, oh, that's a bit strange. And you go back to relaxing, looking to see if you see anyone. And you notice a slip of paper is now on your table.
Awesome. Oh, there's no problem at all, friend. Don't worry, and just kind of slide it underneath and see what it's got on it.
Yeah, it's simply a very small note that just says, "I'll see you at the feast. Kiss, kiss, kiss,
Amazing.
kiss, kiss, kiss. 3 kisses. We'll go 3 kisses."
Okay, yeah, I'm going to. Oh, Belleric is gonna kind of read this and go, and yeah, just make his way out again.
Okay.
I'm gonna give a bit of a nod to the dwarf that dropped it off on my way out, and then I'll return back to the castle and the fort, and lurk in my doorway, trying to watch Evelios's
Okay.
door and when it
All right,
when it opens.
Janice, you're going to the feast half an hour early. Is there anything you're going there to particularly do, or just be early?
I want to scope it out slightly,
Okay.
see what the security's like, if there's any sofas, good seats.
So you head towards the feasting hall. It's not the throne room. It's a different locale within the dwarven fortress. You head to the big stone double doors, which at the moment are open, and you can see that there are streams of dwarven catering staff running in and out, laying the food ready. They have lots of mage hands are flying around, lots of magic, lower tier magic that you've seen in a lot of kind of higher end establishments. A couple of things. Roll me an Arcana.
9.
A 9. Okay, so you see a couple of things that you've heard of this spell before. Some sort of invisible creatures that do your bidding in catering services that I like to use for high-end catering businesses that Jack has already met today in another campaign. Spells that are used for unseen servants, I guess you could say, that walk around with food and they're setting the tables, putting all the cutlery out, making it all look perfect. Everything, all of the cutlery needs to be symmetrical in the perfect position for everyone. It's a feast that has not been seen in many, many years. Probably since the last coronation of the king was the last time a feast this grand was going to be put on. Because there's not much to celebrate in today's day and age. So you arrive, and you see that there is one dwarf in particular. Very tall fella for a dwarf, actually. He's pushing 6 feet. So you're not quite sure if he's a dwarf. Maybe he's like half dwarf, half orc, Goliath, giant, something. You can't quite tell who he is. Standing there, towering above everyone. Big barrel-chested man with a long scroll in his hand, and he's barking orders at people. Go this way, that way. I want the steaks here. I want these cupcakes coming in at this time. Go and do this. He's giving everyone orders. And he's standing there and he kind of notices you and gives you a bit of a nod, but continues what he's doing.
I give him a nod back, and I continue just exploring around, see what's going on.
Yeah, are you going to go in?
Yeah.
Okay, so you go in. This room, it's like it's a rectangle with Right. See, I've got a map for this, but I don't want to show you the map yet. So it is a rectangle with it's shaped kind of like this. Can you see that? It's like a rectangle with a I don't know.
Corner chopped off.
Yeah, with it. That's perfect. With the corners chopped off at the top end. And to your left and right as you walk in, there is two large banquet tables that run parallel to each other on either side, which presumably are for the masses, the unclean masses. And then at the far end of the room, where the corners are chopped off, there is some angled benches up a flight of stairs to either side of one grand banquet table in the middle. You can tell that this is where the king is going to be sitting, mainly because it's in the middle, also because of the opulent throne of jewels that is seated in the middle of this. In the middle of the room, between the two tables on the left and right, is a big red dancing carpet area. There is also a little alcove that you can see just to your left as you walk in, where there is a band currently setting up for some music. And there are maybe 6 guards spotted around the room at the moment, but it is mostly filled with catering staff. Only in the lower area, though, the top table seems to have already been laid out. And yeah, that's what you see. It's very busy at the moment. They're preparing very hard.
I'm going to go to the large dwarf, and I'm going to walk up to him, give him a nod. Then I'm going to ask him, do you need any assistance with anything?
No, sir, I don't think so. I believe this is a feast in your honour. I could not ask you to do anything for the preparations.
Are you sure? I've got half an hour to kill.
Would you like to make a persuasion, or are you not really that
Yeah,
bothered?
I'll try and make a persuasion. I've got 14.
14. Well then, if you insist, I really don't want to ask you to do anything, but if it's something that you really want to help with, then you may assist the band with setting up their musical instruments. They arrived a little bit late. Their ship was waylaid slightly. Ocean traffic, as they said. I don't quite know the reasons, but yes, you can assist them for a while. Oh,
Will do.
and if you could take the seating arrangements back to your friends as well, that would be wonderful.
Of course.
And he hands you a little slip of paper.
Thank you. I'll get that. I'll get on that right away. And then Janus goes over to the band.
Lovely. So you spend the next 20 or so minutes helping set up the band. You're going to go and give the seating arrangements to Hal and Evelios? Or...
Yeah.
Okay. You guys are sat. So the Ingvar? I think it's Ingvar. Yes, Ingvar. Ingvar, the Dwarven king. He sits in the middle, obviously. To his left, Ivar is going to be seated. And then to his left, it's going to be Hal. And to his left is going to be Evelios. And to your left is going to be a Janus. And there are seating arrangements for the other two, but as they're not showing up, it's not particularly important. So you guys are all seated to the left of the king. To the right of the king, some minor dwarven nobles that you probably haven't heard of. So you have 10 minutes left of the feast. Anyone want to do any last minute preparation, or do we just want to begin?
All of Belleric's last minute preparations are going to be kind of artfully adjusting like strands of his hair. So
Yes.
Evelios would open his door and are you hiding, Belle? Because I know you were waiting.
no, he's probably waiting by the closed door, trying to listen for if you've left or not.
Okay. So open the door and you're just there. Thunk.
Um,
Nearest window.
So, Janice, are you going to be setting off to arrive at the feast again early, or are you going to wait for people?
I'll get there early as well.
Okay, so you want to go and be sat at your seat ready.
Yeah.
Okay, so you go. People have already started to arrive. The catering staff have slowly stopped trickling. There's still a couple here and there adjusting a couple of things, but the masses have started to arrive. They're taking their seats on the chairs. Most of them are already here. And after a couple of moments, there's about 5 minutes left. Most of the people who are seated on the bottom benches seem to have already arrived. And some of the more important people start to arrive. So you've got the two benches that are kind of at the front but separated from the main one. People who are seated at those start to arrive. A couple of younger people, maybe kind of like teenage/young adult heirs of some of the noble families, perhaps. A couple of older members. You spot someone who could definitely be Ingvar's father, perhaps, or maybe great-grandfather. Very ancient man. He's in a wheelchair, and he is sat there basically not moving, but as he's wheeled in, one of the Dwarven mages casts a spell to mould the stairs into a ramp, and they push him up the ramp and seat him on one of the far left-hand tables, not at the king's table, interestingly enough. And then about 3 minutes left. You two are both going to arrive. I believe Beleric is going to arrive a little bit beforehand. So you walk in, and the music is already begun to play. The atmosphere is quite jolly. People have already started to kind of mingle and discuss and chat with each other. No one's started the food yet, of course. The king hasn't begun the feast yet. But you arrive, and you're kind of like walking there, and you kind of hear a few steps behind you as you see Avelios is kind of like exactly 30 seconds behind you in the corridors.
I just take as much of his thunder as I could.
You arrive first, so what are you doing?
Oh, can I interject?
Go for it.
I just want to point out a small detail that Janus's armor has gone from like a grey silvery to a white now. That's how much dirt there was on the armor.
Okay. So you are shining amongst the dancing and shimmering lights in the throne room. It's almost Hogwartsy style. There are a couple of floating chandeliers and genuine dancing lights that are presumably being cast by someone somewhere. It's a spell you recognise, as Beleric has used that spell a lot. Yes, Beleric, you arrive. What would you like to do? Anything special?
I'm absolutely casting prestidigitation to make my cloak kind of wave slightly and like kind of bolster all of the colours a little bit. And I'm going to try, and I don't. This won't work. Try and look really casual about coming in.
Want to do a
given that
performance?
Certainly try. Given that it's Beleric, it's probably not going to be very successful, but. Performance, where's that? 14.
A 14 is definitely not your biggest skill that you've got, but you do a decent job of it. I think your friends can tell that it's definitely some sort of act, but to everyone else, I'm not sure how you would get that they think you're being casual, but however that might, they give kind of like a few gasps from like, oh, he's really cool. A few comments
Amazing.
like that in the
That's all I
crowd.
want.
As you stroll across the dance hall, up the stairs to take your seat next to Ivar, who is already there, seated. And I assume Janus would have seated himself as well. So when Janus went in, no one really commented much until you sat at the head table and people were like, oh, that's Janus. Because nobody recognised you with the differences in the armour.
Would like to as well, as I'm kind of walking in. I feel like there's kinship here. I'm gonna glance over to the band and just kind of size them up a little bit. Are they anyone I've heard of? Are they well known?
Probably, yeah. They are.
Okay.
I've not really thought about this lore-wise, but
It's fine.
It will be one of the more prominent bands in the world, yes. Maybe a bit of respect between you both. I mean, definitely respect from them to you. I don't know if you would respect them, because I mean, they're definitely worse than you, but still pretty good. They're probably the band that's performed a lot of the speeches that you have written for the kings and nobles and such. At any parties that you've attended, they've probably been there if they're like high end.
Are they dwarven or kind of like a mix of
Yeah,
the
these are a
races?
mix. There's also there's maybe like 4 or 5 elves, a couple of humans. So maybe 1 or 2 half elves, maybe a dwarf or 2 thrown in there. Maybe 1 sea elf who's a conductor as well.
That's fun. Okay, cool. In which case, as I walk past, I'll give them a nod and a smile, and I will like bare teeth at them and kind of like tusky
They give a little kind
shenanigans.
of slightly
Just do a bit of a
yeah. They give a slightly kind of combative, jolly kind of like twist to the music as they look at you. And yes, you
and then I'll
walk
go.
on. Take your seat next to Ivar, and he gives you a. I'm not very good at an Ivar voice. Unfortunately, we don't have him here. Hello, hello, hello. This'll do. How you doing?
I'm alive, and that's always a reassurance.
Aye. It's good to see you again. Glad you survived. I heard some of the things that happened on the mountain trip. Well, my father will be arriving soon.
Well, how are you feeling about all of this? This has never been your area.
You know how it is. We don't get along too well, but for appearance's sake, I'll be his son.
Remember what I've told you, and argue too obviously. If you're going to be dickhead, be clever about it.
Yes. He seems to be very happy with himself, so he kind of like speaks across to both of you at this point. If you can just forgive his horrible behaviour, be nice to him, make him feel happy today, and I guess I would appreciate that. And then it's
Forgive
going to
him on
be
YouTube.
Evelios' turn to walk in.
Oh, you're muted.
Yeah, you're muted. You walk in
Excellent.
doing your best mime impression.
No, he's got his waistcoat on, a long-sleeved shirt, but with the cuffs about rolled up halfway up the sleeve, and is wearing his belt of alchemicals. There's a few different ones in there. It's more multicolored than usual, and he's got his rapier on his hip and no other visual weapons, and is just big high boots, clack clack clack, just imperious strides straight in, not looking particularly at anyone else, just complete regal bearing. He's found a tricorn somewhere.
I think
And
your crew has
is-
quite a lot of them.
Yeah. And it's sort of a blue to match the waistcoat, and just strides right on in there, and not particularly paying attention to anyone else, just simply strides right up to the top table, takes his hat off and places it on Belric's head and sits down.
Ruin my hair.
Ivar gives you a Evelios. Bit of a wave.
Hi,
and a nod.
Va.
Good to see you again.
Indeed, it's remarkable to see you.
Yes, yes. Sadly, I'm a bit soulless this time. I've lost a part of myself. But alas,
Back now, Ivar. You don't have to worry.
yes. I have some things to speak to you after this feast. I don't think I can continue on our journey together. Sadly. Janice, you don't need to put your hand up. You're in good company. Just speak your mind.
I just want to say, can I go grab my food quickly?
Yeah, go for it, man. You don't need to ask. I'm not at school, bro.
Yeah.
Poor delivery
just
guy.
like- Janice is just waiting with knife and fork.
Can I eat, please?
We're good.
It is saddening
Yes.
here.
Yes, well, I've had some discussions with my father, and well, you'll learn some of this in the feast tonight. I don't want to spoil any surprises. I'll put it that way.
Be sure to know that you've learned how to live a spoiler-free life.
Yes, well, I think my father would be upset if I spoiled his great plans, and you know how he is. I hear he has gifts for you, though, which shall be nice. I'm looking forward to see how much money he was willing to spend on other people. It'll be
Time for
interesting.
everything.
I see.
So, there are a couple of catering staff that hang around behind the back of these tables on beck and call, so if you'd like anything. I guess Ivor would probably be telling you that, yeah. These staff, if you'd like anything, any food that's not at the tables, just give them a holler. They're very good at their jobs. All Dwarven, of course. And in the midst of this conversation, you notice that the doors to the room had been shut at some point, and you hear two booming knocks echo throughout the room. And the room is quieted down. And the person that you recognise, your guide and maybe somewhat friend / admirer that you traversed through the Great Divide with, Hargrin Quickeye. He's standing next to the door and he announces with a big bellow. For those of you who have any magic at all, he's using thaumaturgy or someone's using it on him. He booms throughout the room and he announces, "Welcome the king, Ingvar, to the feast." And in through the double doors, they swing open. It seems like the king himself has pushed them open with his hands, and in he marches. He's a little bit stout, so his walk is slightly funny to you more humanoid, like a taller humanoid type of people, but the dwarves are all silent. He's very imperious. He's wearing big, thick, golden furs, opulent jewellery on pretty much every part of revealed flesh. And he's got what you could probably tell is a bit of makeup on Beleric. As you may or may not know, Ivar and the Ingvar, their family, when they have magical powers, they have facial tattoos that kind of describe their arcane ability, and he has put on a bit of makeup to enhance the look of his arcane tattoos and features as he strolls throughout the room. In one hand, he's holding a thick, golden, stone-like scepter that is clacking on the floor every step that he takes, and the only thing that you can hear is his footsteps as he's strolling across the room. He walks up the steps, kind of looks at everyone who's seated on the main table and gives you all a bit of a nod, and he swishes and walks around, and the servants behind him pull the golden throne out from the table, and he sits down and they push it back in, and he sits there and he looks around at everyone. "At the feast, begin!" And the music starts again. People start to dig into their food, as he is apparently not giving his speeches at this particular moment in time.
I wasn't expecting background noise, and that really, like, made my evening.
It should have been playing earlier as well. I don't know if you guys are hearing it or not. Yes. The chatter starts up again. There's a bit of a kind of applause from everyone and some cheers and some woohoos. As basically everyone pauses for a moment as he says, "Let the feast begin," to allow him to take the first bite of food, as he picks up a big slab of meat and devours it. And everyone starts to eat after that. You guys, there is an array of pretty much every food that you think might be in a dwarven stronghold in front of you. Lots of meats, ales, drinks, just lots of meat, really, is their kind of preferred type of food. There's some vegetables, gravy, mash, potatoes, anything and everything, and it's just kind of a case of, it's a buffet, you know, grab what you want and get
Cool.
stuck in.
What type of food?
Janice in the corner.
Yeah, so what are you guys going to do?
The first time in Janus's history in this campaign, he's actually going to take off his helmet to eat.
Really?
I thought it was just
Yeah.
going through a straw through the visor.
Wow. Well, what does Janice look like?
He would have trimmed himself up just before this feast. So
course.
he's got about medium length hair. Just imagine Aragorn, but with a big scar on the left side of his eye.
Okay.
That's how I describe it.
All right. Interesting. I never thought that you would take your helmet off. I don't think we have any art for that ready.
Nope.
Unexpected.
Yeah. You take off your great helmet and you place it on the table beside you and start enjoying this lovely meal that's been set before you. And it's good. It's really good. Cool.
I was looking away when Janus took off his helmet, and I looked back and. Hello. Who are you? Where's Janus?
Janus will be like in mid chewing a bit of food, like a bit of meat, and he just turns to Velios and he's like, I'm Janus.
Uh, great heaven. This is.
What are you so shocked by? I take off my helmet every now and then.
I've
I have been traveling with you for. What's this? Well, we spent nearly a fortnight traveling down from the Great Divide, and then in all the time that I've known you, I have never once seen your face. You should take off your helmet more often, I think.
We're out in the open. I need to keep a helmet on. What if I bash my skull?
You make a valid point.
Janus continues with his food.
Ivor kind of like leans over to like shout across the table at you. I have to say, I expected white hair, but other than that, it's what I thought you might look like. But it's nice to see you in the flesh.
Thank you, Ivor. Cheers to you. He raises his ale.
After a few
Belaric's
moments,
gonna kind of like lean forward, cough on like a mouthful of something, and be like,
after a few moments, Ingvar, the Dwarven king, mid-mouthful of chicken leg, speaking with his mouth full, as he speaks over to you guys. Well, I have gifts for you. The first one, as he gestures forwards, and through the crowds of the people that have begun to dance, two of the servants walk through with a silver platter, and upon this platter is a necklace of orange and red rubies. And through his mouthful, Ingvar goes, "The magical necklace. For you, I think you'll need it on your journeys ahead. It is the last something that I've had no need for. It is a gift I think you will need." And they walk up and they place it upon the table in front of you guys as a group. Please, take a look.
Joink.
stealing if you say yoink.
Yeah, just gonna pull my fingers through the chain of it and examine it. Can I determine what it might do?
Go for it, roll Arcana.
B.
Well, if Elios is going straight for the necklace, I'll turn to Ingvar and kind of say, we appreciate this, thank you very much.
23.
It's rightful. There's more to come. It is a lovely golden string necklace. The chain itself is gold, and there's 9 red fire-like orbs strung along it, and it is definitely a necklace that you've heard of before. It's maybe in some tales. A necklace of fireball. The king doesn't seem to have given any hint that he might know that it's a necklace of fireball.
It is a beautiful gift.
Yes,
The,
yes.
the craftsmanship is exquisite.
Well,
Uh,
so passed down the line from my father, from him, from my father's father to him, to me, and well now to you, as I don't have any worthy heirs.
I'm gonna like do a bit of a
yeah.
very gentle hand on Ivar's arm just to kind of acknowledge it and be like, don't react.
Yeah, he's Ivar himself is just digging into the food. He's not really paying too much
For Ivar.
attention. Yes, well, I hope it looks good on you. Well, maybe you can sell it. I cannot really. It's yours now. And
Thank you.
Thank you.
yes, if I'd had more time, I maybe would have had gifts for you that I'd picked out personally that you would find useful. Alas, it has been, 6 hours. I've just kind of thrown things together that I'm sure you all love and need and treasure. And the next thing that some people bring out, it's not on a silver platter, but it is in fact two groups of people come walking out, and you can't quite tell what they're carrying between them as they're kind of encircling something at the moment. But as they walk up, the two people at the front kind of split, and they upend a massive golden bejeweled ship's wheel. It's got rubies and gems, diamonds, all sorts of rich things embossed along it. This one I've had in my collection for a while. One of you, I think, is a sailor. Janice. No. You. And he points at Velios. You're a sailor, I believe. I'm sure you can find some use for this. It's a showpiece, really, but I used to hang it above my bedroom. Above my bed, in my bedroom.
It is entirely remarkable. The amount of gemstones on it alone is surely something worthy of a king's reside.
I have no idea how much it's worth. I've never sold it. And, yes, a pretty penny, I assume.
That's certainly the showpiece.
And those are the two specifically interesting things that he gives you. However, over the course of the next maybe 30 minutes, in between lots of eating food, he brings you many, many jewels, piles of gold, decorative swords, amount to rough estimate, being who you are. You did reveal your real profession the other week, I believe, right, Ivelius?
I did party, yes.
Yeah. So being a somewhat riotous individual at some point in your past, you're pretty good at like quickly identifying the rough price of things that might be what you want to take quickly if a ship is sinking and you need the most valuable items. So all in all, there is about 16,000 or so, give or so, amounts worth of decorative golden jewellery and items and swords and stuff that is brought out to you and gifted to the group as a whole.
How much, sorry, did you say?
Roughly 16,000. You guys wouldn't know exactly. It's about 16,062 gold pieces. But yeah, roughly around 16,000. These are all brought up to you on different platters, some red velvet cushions. As there's just a stream of people that is breaking through the dancers in the middle of the room and bringing you treasures. And after the stream of people was finished, Ingvar, "Right, well, that's it. That's all you're getting. Treasure it." And he laughs a little bit at his what he perceived to be a pun.
Ha ha ha.
Visible cringe.
And then, as he says it's over, there is another individual that breaks through the crowd of dancers. It doesn't appear to be a servant or even a dwarf at all. It is, in fact, what appears to be a woman. A humanoid, like a taller humanoid, like human height, maybe like 5'10", 5'11", so a relatively tall female, I would imagine. As she walks through the aisle, she is wearing an incredibly puffy red dress. It is incredibly stylish, looks extremely expensive, and make me a perception check, everyone, please.
I got a 9.
While Janice is digging into his food and looking at all these gems that's been like placed around his chicken, like, I don't want to eat gold.
I'm making sure my helmet's still there.
17.
17. Okay, so you two looks quite natural. She's a very beautiful woman, very curved, elegant features, a nice chiseled jawline that leads up into some pointy ears that reveal that she is an elf of some sort. Freckles across her face. But Bella, you notice a few extra details. Pierced ear here, the undercut hair. You can notice these details that this isn't really the kind of look that a courtroom noble would go for. You can tell that they are a little bit suspicious, maybe undercover. She looks a little bit like this, only with a big poofy red dress on. As she breaks through the crowd and walks up to the table and gives a little curtsy to the king. And the king looks a bit confused and like speaks to his right-hand man. "Who's this?" And the other guy's like, "I don't know." And she walks along the table quite daintily in what you now see is kind of like high heels that give her a little bit of extra height. So she's probably more like 5'9", 5'10" instead. But no, it doesn't have about 5'9", 5'10" instead. As she walks along past Ivar and stands in front of Beleric and turns to you and kind of like bows over the table and proffers a hand. "Would you like to dance the next song, Beleric Morgamarch?"
It'd be my absolute honor, and I'm gonna shove a few like extra rings on my hand because why not?
Yeah.
Make sure they're very, very gold and ostentatious. And I'm gonna put a hand on Ivalius's shoulder as I stand up and go, "Well, I've won this one, haven't I?" And I'm gonna circle the table and
Unbelievable.
Yeah. Do you take a proffered hand?
I will, yes.
You take a hand and
Absolutely
then
outrageous.
you lift your hand up and you kind of like walk along the table, like with your hands above everyone, as you kind of meet at the end, and you walk down the stairs and to the dancing arena. And as the songs change, you begin a dance. Obviously, you recognise this person, I assume. And as you're dancing, you're doing a nice ballroom dance. She kind of puts her head. How tall are you? You're about the same height, right?
Probably about similar, yeah.
She might be a
I've
bit
written it
taller
down
than you with the
somewhere.
high heels on.
He's definitely taller than me.
Yeah, so she kind of like puts her head down towards your head as you're doing a nice dance across the ballroom and gives you a little hello.
Neira, it's lovely to see you again. I didn't really think that balls were your forte.
Well, it's the biggest feast that's been had in a while. I had to attend. I didn't really want to wear this, but I think I fit right in. And as she says this, one of her kind of slightly false eyelashes falls slightly.
Oh, darling. fix it a bit and kind of smush her hair into a bit more of an elegant go back.
Lovely.
Remember to glide in those heels, right?
I
Really need to practice before you launch yourself in. Art this.
trusting you to lead me in the dance. I'm not used to these kind of footwear. The people at the dining table, what are you guys going to be doing whilst the dance is happening? The dance, this song itself, is going to be about 5 minutes, so you have about 5 minutes worth of conversation. I'm going to start a timer once we've decided what the other people are going to do.
If Velios is going to take a quick scan of the high table and then just the people that aren't dancing around the edge and see if there's anyone he recognizes that is academically inclined or otherwise notable for any particular exploits or creation that he might be able to talk to about something interesting.
Yeah, I'm sure you can find a small group of people just by the edge of the ballroom who are kind of grouped together.
Yeah, the noble
are...
second sons who were, you go do academic. Go on. And are just completely awkward otherwise.
So what you see is just a group of people down by the edge of the ballroom who you can tell that they are inventors. They have weird contraptions that they are wearing that clearly they've made themselves. Along with the fact that they are like looking at you and kind of like whispering to each other as they keep glancing towards you and like exclaiming to each other. A lot of them have kind of, you can tell, like bits of alchemy equipment strapped around the waist and such like. And you can definitely go and have a conversation with them.
Yes, I think so. Let's see
that after
what
Belleric's dance.
Let's see what secrets we can pry out of
Okay.
individual knowledge. Okay.
Janus, what would you like to do for the next 5 or so minutes?
Janus is going to look out for a couple of things. A, how much food is there?
It is constantly being refilled.
Oh, okay, so screw that then.
Yep.
So I want to see how is Ivar doing? Like, is he fine being by himself, or?
Ivar is definitely not in the greatest of moods. He's currently just sat next to his father, kind of head in his hands, slowly picking at the food that's around him. He's eating very slowly, just... Yeah. He doesn't like his father. It's not a great relationship that they've got going on.
Okay,
as
Janus,
you probably know.
Janus is going to take over Belleric's seat then.
Yeah.
Sit up next to Ivar, and
Yeah.
he's going to talk to him about Bastion.
Oh, lovely. Okay. In that case, I'm going to activate the map so we can have a bit more of a visual about what's going on, I think. So apologies for the horrendous state of this map. It's not great, but I did what I could in the time that I had this morning. So, the brown squares, the tables, these grey lines here are the stairs. And then there's some black lines around the corners of the room that you might be able to see that are doorways, entrances to this room. And the red square is the ballroom area. I hope it's
We all
not too
come in
confusing.
through the one at the bottom.
Yeah, you all came in through the one at the bottom. So yes, you're currently having a dance. Is there any particularly you would like to be dancing? Like at the edge or like right in the middle? Or
I think kind of traversing a lot. Like there's lots and lots
Lovely.
of movement so that we don't end up...
Yeah, so it doesn't really matter where you're on the map.
Yeah.
Lovely. So yeah, Janice, you move along and you have a conversation about Bastion. We can go to that after Belleric's little talk. Right, we have 5 minutes. Starting now. I got your letter.
Sorry, say that again, I missed that.
Oh, I'll start it again.
Sorry.
Oh,
Nerves
boy.
got me. There's pressure now.
She's kind of got our forehead on your forehead and she's whispering into your ear. I got your letter.
Oh. Anything interesting?
Well, just a few tidbits here and there. And she reaches into one of the folds of her dress and gets out a piece of paper and slips it into like your waistcoat pocket. There you go.
Much obliged. How was the trip?
Oh, you know, not very eventful, I have to say. The the person who you got that letter off. Interesting, actually. A fellow that I didn't even know existed before I got this letter. One Murgoth, Commander of the
Murgoth?
Depths. Yes. Commander that, well, I did not know existed. It seems he was, well, undercover. Under the ocean, somewhere. Yes.
There are a lot of things.
He was given a letter, and that letter you gave to me, and the letter says, do not let the legends into Tholgaron, which you would know is the demon's name for their realm. Interesting thing, actually, all of the commanders were given a letter similar to this. Yes.
Interesting. So you know what we've been doing then, have you? Birds
There's
reached.
been some rumours here and there. I've been spending most of my time with some dissenters among the legions of the orcs. In fact, they finally decided to act. And
Act.
yes, they have stated firmly and clearly that they are not going to be following the orders of the demon legions anymore. A small group, albeit, and unfortunately your brother is not included. However, they are in a very dangerous situation. They are encamped, obviously, in the demon lands, and they are not looking too hot. So, it's... But they thank me very much for this information, and they are going to be doing their best to send help to you guys. I mean, alas, if they do not want you to reach their realm, then surely it's a good thing if you do.
Quite. I appreciate the information. I must ask, since you're here, and does my brother know anything of the king?
Or
Mainly.
perhaps. I haven't really had a chance to speak to him in a while.
Nothing changes.
He has been on the front lines a lot.
Hmm.
You know, the battle-crazed maniac he is. However, I think after a while of... If I could just meet with him, I think I might be able to bring him over to our side. I mean, he's your brother. What do you think? Do you think he'll be open
agree.
to joining?
I'm sure we can persuade him. Has he spoken to Guybrush at all?
No. No, he has not. As I say, it's all very chaotic at the moment. I was lucky to be able to escape in one piece. But yes, I just wanted to come and see you. As I said, I was rewarded greatly for the information that you provided with this letter. It was supposed to be destroyed. I do not know why the fool kept the letter on him.
He's
very
foolish enough
curious.
to die at our hands, so that's on him, I suppose.
Oh. This is a lovely dance. Is there anything else that you'd like to know?
Yes, you said that my brother was not one of the dissenters,
No,
or any of my family.
a handful of them.
Okay.
Yes, a few. I think your letters might have helped somewhat. That you've sent back home. Some of them are looking for more. They don't want to be slaves to the demons anymore. They would like to live free lives. Your letters have really helped with that.
I'll do what I can in order to help that. Sure, I'll be able to offer some more sometime soon.
It would be wonderful. Well, this dance is almost over. Would you like another one, or...?
Well, are you planning on staying around? I should warn you, and I'll spin her very slightly to kind of so that she gets a look at the high table over my shoulder. I must warn you that they know that you don't really belong here. It's the high hill walking the Ira. It's not your forte.
I really tried. Well, yes, I suppose I will take my leave. I'll be in town for a while if you'd like anything. Yes, other than that, it was lovely to see you.
be in touch, and I'll do a very extravagant dip at the end of the song.
Lovely. The song ran over slightly. However, yes, you bow to each other. She fumbles it slightly, but she recovers herself, or you help her
Nearly
recover
there.
herself. And she melded into the crowd, disappears. Many people swamp you asking for a dance.
Yeah.
I was going to say I'm going to watch her go, kind of maintaining the bow a little. Make sure that she's kind of out of the swarm a little bit, and then stand up with a really big grin and be like, "Well, who's next then?" And just
Lovely.
kind of grab the nearest person.
Oh, there are many people willing to dance with you. Men, women, non-men
Let's have
or
a-
women. Everyone would like a dance with Belrook Morgamarsh.
I'm going to grab for a hand that does not have any rings on it, and that is all I am looking for.
Okay, lovely. Elias, what are the conversations you've been having? You approach this group of young tinkerers, alchemists, inventors, who clearly have heard of your work, judging by the looks they're giving you. What
Indeed.
discussions are you having with them?
Gentlemen,
They all very nervously, kind of collectively, like greet you.
I basically spend a good sort of 4 or 5 minutes just in-depth drilling each of them in turn about their techniques, what they're currently working on. If any of them start to ramble, then I will cut them off and move on to the next one, and basically just seeing if there's anything useful I can pull out of them while being incredibly polite the whole time.
Incredibly polite, you say? Okay. Yeah.
Yes, well, it's, and so how does it work? And then they start to ramble, and I'm like, I see. So it's this, and this. Excellent. That is rather marvelous. And what about you?
Okay. Yeah, you get a couple of interesting tidbits here and there.
Mhm.
One of them in particular is really, really pleased with a potion that he's concocted. And he would love to delve into the details of it with you. And he has a copy of it with him, in fact, that he will happily hand over to you. And he is the one that is he's trying to ramble as much as possible.
Mhm.
As he hands it over to you, it is a potion of strength. It is, which one would it be? The one that's, I believe, it's 23 stone. Yeah, 23 stone giant strength. It has those effects. However, he has not called it a stone giant strength potion. He has called it. I'm not quite sure what he'll have called it. Strong arm potion. We'll say he's called it that. His second name is Strong Arm, and he has called the potion the Strong Arm potion. And he'll
Remarkably inventive.
he'll hand you a free vial of this potion.
Certainly intriguing. I shall take it back to the lab. But if there's anything to be made of it, then we may be in touch. A bit more.
The look of glee that he gives you is vibrant. Is that all?
Thanks. I think that will be all. Actually, there is one more thing,
Go
which
for it.
is I would be keeping half an eye on Belrook and this individual I don't know dancing. And when they begin to finish dancing, I'd break myself away from the group ever so slightly. Like, excuse me a sec. And I'd wander just off to one side, just where people can't quite see me, and just sort of blow out my hands. And I would like to summon Jericho, my owl,
Mm-hmm. Your owl.
and my owl familiar. And
We don't have an art for that one. I have an art for Ivar's bird.
I
don't think we ever made any art for your bird.
I think I wasn't sure if we had made someone not. I couldn't quite remember.
Nope.
I think this is about the second time I've mentioned him, and every time we go, we should make some art for that, and then I never mention him for like 30 sessions.
Oh, this is Ivar's bird. You're probably never going to see the bird because Ivar's not playing anymore, sadly. But does this look anything like your bird? Then it was this bird all along.
Is this your bird?
Not quite.
Not quite. Okay. Yes.
Funny owl.
But glorious owl, and just let him up into the rooftop rafters of this grand hall, and just a quick mental command of just follow her. And then I return to the group and take up the next invention and be like, do you have a recipe on hand as well? Is this something that your group all carries, or
Lovely.
is young strong arm just particularly enthusiastic?
Yes.
In fact, Hal's eyes widened.
It seems he is the only one that has anything particularly interesting.
Very well.
So, Janus, are you saying anything particular, or are you just
It's
two old warlords talking about the war?
it's to keep his mind off the whole environment, really. Just talk about Bastion, the war, anything military related,
Yeah.
just anything and everything.
Well, seems very happy to reciprocate this conversation. And if that's what you guys are going to be doing for the next some time,
Oh,
talking
can you
to
repeat that
people-
because my internet went?
Yes. So if that's what you guys are going to be doing for the next short while, then the next event is going to be the king and a speech or two. So does anyone want to do anything in between now and, say, the next hour and a half?
Just keeping the
I
eye on
would-
track.
Go for it.
Sorry, I would love to just make my way through as many people as
Yeah.
possible.
That's what I thought you were going to be doing.
Specifically, I would like to see if I can strong arm onto the dance floor.
Okay.
And yeah, can I? I want to see if they want to dance.
I'm sure, it's definitely not their kind of thing, but you can definitely ask them and they will say yes.
Amazing.
Are you doing
I
anything
will.
particular with them? Or just stealing their potions, or just...
Ooh. No, I think I will. I'm gonna be awful. No, I'm not. Yeah, I am. I'm going to try and talk Evelios up as much as possible.
Porcabellios up? What, 2 strong arm? Okay.
The strong arm. I'm gonna be like, oh yeah, he's wonderful. He's done all of these things. Incredible.
Everything you're going to say, he's going to wholeheartedly agree with.
Amazing. And then I'll be like, oh, you should definitely ask him to dance. He's been wanting to all evening.
Really? Oh,
Absolutely.
it's been a lovely dance, but I need to go to the toilet. And he dashes away.
Of course. Weirdo. And then I'll find another person.
Okay.
Trying to get around as many people as possible.
Well, Evelios, after about 45 minutes, Strongarm will come dashing up to you. Evelios, sir, in return for my gift of the potion and the instructions of how to make it, will you dance with me?
And I also have given him bardic inspiration when I said to do it.
Yes,
If he's trying to
of
persuade him,
course,
I really want this to work.
If Elias had taken himself off to one side, wasn't dancing at the minute, and was just sort of cataloguing through his alchemicals, taking a look at the potion, not pulling out a full alchemical set, but just taking a look at it, and he sort of flips it up into his hand as Strongarm approaches him, looks him up and down, and then glances across the floor. Do I see Belrock probably smirking?
Absolutely, you do. I'm kind of just watching it from like across the floor. What?
You get a very subtle eye roll in your direction, and Evelios goes, "Very well. It's been a while since I had a formal dance, but let's see if we can't show them thing." And he gets up and dusts himself off.
Yes, it's quite awkward for a dwarf and a fully grown human to dance. But there is a specific dance that has been created for these kind of environments, and it is just a dance where you're not. It's not like a ballroom dance where you're like holding each other. It's just you're dancing kind of like in front of each other, so that the height difference isn't particularly an issue. And you have a lovely dance with Mr. Strongarm, and he gets very giddy. And after the dance is over, he runs off, and you can almost hear him bragging to his friends above everybody that's speaking in the hall.
So glad, Howard.
That was wonderful. You can have an inspiration.
Well, the dancing done.
What would you like
You
to
know
have
what?
been doing with your familiar during this time?
Indeed. Just going to keep the telepathic link if Jericho's staying close. But if Ellis isn't dancing at his best, given that he has half a mind on a dance he memorized a long time ago, and the other half of his mind is flying across the city, presumably. Just
So, do you get to
silent wings
see through your familiar's eyes?
up until they're more than 100 feet away. So
Okay.
not for very long, but
Okay.
there's still a telepathic link there.
Okay. Are you able to roll a stealth for your familiar?
Yep, absolutely. Give
Okay.
me 1 second to grab Jericho's stat block. Yo. Glorious, glorious 9.
Okay. Well, you see through eyes of your familiar, following this youngish-looking woman out of the hall. She ducks through the double doors, and as soon as she's outside of the main hall, you see she takes off the high heels and stuffs them in a bag that she's pulled out from nowhere. And she pulls over one of the catering staff. Could you just unzip my dress, please? And the catering guy's like, yeah. And he unzips the dress to reveal a style of clothing that you'll be quite familiar with as a rogue yourself. It's very kind of like form-fitting leathers that are there to do a job. You can see a couple of the hidden parts that would indicate, maybe some hidden weapons here and there. Some empty dagger straps along her legs, with a nice cloak down her back as she stuffs the dress into her bag as well.
I make a sort of like appreciative noise as I'm dancing that Strong probably completely misinterprets. Like one of my hands glances across the small of my back and just taps the dagger hilts across there as I spin.
Yes, and she kind of like ruffles her hair a bit, and it falls back down into the art that I showed you of what she looks like. And she's now looking a lot more like this image that we have right now. And she kind of like pulls her hand up to her ear and reinserts kind of an earring in. Wipes away some of the makeup that was hiding a couple of the freckles on her face. And lets out a big long sigh and kind of like leans up against the wall. And just takes a moment to kind of relax. And she's going to stroll, following the stream of people that are kind of leaving and coming into the feast as she leaves the feasting hall. So you're not going to be able to see for much longer.
Yeah.
She just heads out into the city.
I will have Jericho follow her, however.
That's absolutely fine.
Continue to follow at a high altitude, just sort of swooping on silent wing, just above, keeping a track on, keeping an eye out, and can still feel that he's out there tracking.
Well, after another short while, the king slams his goblet down on the table after taking a big draught of drink, presumably some sort of dwarven ale. And he kind of like takes a deep breath and a sigh, like a sigh of satisfaction at the drink. And Ivar and Janus, you hear him whisper well, not whisper, but speak to someone next to him. Bring the legends back up to the table. and some catering staff come and find you guys amongst the crowds and ask you to rejoin the king at the table.
I'll move back to my original seat.
Lovely. You've had a lovely chat about the war and the wall and just basically just old retired general speak. No, you're not really that old, but you know, I feel like you've seen enough war for it to be the case anyway. Are you guys gonna rejoin the table?
Yes.
Okay. So
Apologise to whoever I'm dancing with and return.
it's absolutely fine. You danced with like half the room. There's people leaving and joining. Like it's kind of like a rotating group of people. The only people that are constant are the people that were seated on the tables along the top. Everyone else is kind of like, you get the idea that maybe they kind of book time slots maybe or something like that, so that like they could get as many people rotating in and out of the feast as possible to enjoy kind of the environment. And you danced with hundreds of people. I like to imagine you probably didn't give them all a full 5 minutes just to try and get a minute with everyone you possibly could.
Yeah, it was very much like someone, oh, I've got queues and queues. I'm sorry.
Yes. As you take
Awful
your,
being so popular.
yeah, as you take your seats back at the main table, and you hear a piercing kind of ding as you look over and see that Ingvar the king has just tapped his goblet with a warhammer very gently, but the piercing sound rings throughout the whole room, and everyone is silenced. And he gives it a moment for people to finish their dances and sit back down. And at this point, you notice that the crowd now was seeming a lot more kind of rich and affluent than they were when they started. Presumably, this is the richer people who have booked the time slots for the speeches that are now here enjoying the feasts. As the music is maybe not necessarily cut, but definitely lowered down, and everyone who was speaking leaves some room for the king to speak. So he stands up. The catering staff behind him kind of pull the chair out for him to stand up, and he gets slightly shorter. As he stands up behind the table, there's some of the staff have kind of cleared the platters and plates from in front of him, so there's like a clear view to the room. And he booms his voice out across the whole room. Well, it's been a lovely feast. I thank you, legends, and he turns and looks at you all for attending. It has been fun. Those of you may know that I am the King of the Dwarves. Sadly, this is a title that is not necessarily true. For those of you that might know, there is only one king in Aleria. Sadly, he has recently been missing. Kidnapped, we presume, by the opposing force. And at this you hear gasps and kind of like shocked exclamations from the crowd, as it was a rumour, but nobody had stated that was in a position of power that this was the case, right? No one has said this before. So it's quite a shock that it's been now revealed to be something that's true from someone who's such a kind of powerful political figure. He's been missing for some time, and alas, I fear for the safety of this kingdom. On another note, you may have heard, with my meticulous planning, my incredible skills in the leadership department, my foresight, and incredible staff here in Rulham, and the help of the legends, we have managed to vanquish a foe that has been a big threat to us here in Rulham. The Melingor, the beast upon the mountains, has been slain. And no small thanks go to the legends and myself for this incredible feat, the planning and the foresight that went into this event. We thank you. And there's a small car driving past outside. There's a small kind of like posh kind of like ballroom clap from everyone, like not like a big thunderous like theatre clap, but kind of like Kind of one of those.
Evelios leans back and puts his feet up on the high table instead of clapping.
Okay.
I'm gonna lean back and whisper to Avelios. I've been telling everybody it was us while we've been dancing.
Good.
And for those of you that know, my title of king has not been true. However, the legends have brought back some treasures from our clan in the mountains. Most notably, you may have seen them with these furs and incredible adornments. He kind of gestures at the headdress that you're kind of wearing with the fangs and the furs that you guys are kind of draped around your shoulders. And they bestowed upon me the most important part of the beast. And the double doors open, and in march 6 men, dwarven men with a big golden plate, and upon the plate rests the heart of the Melingor. And they bring it up to his table and place it in front of him. The heart of the Melingor is mine, rightfully so, I say. And he kind of like looks down at it, gives it a moment as his eyes kind of like glaze over slightly as he's just imagining something. And he's kind of dragged away into a dreamland for a moment. And everyone's kind of like sat there, patiently waiting on the edges of their seat for him to continue speaking. After a moment of slight uncomfortableness, he just reaches out a hand and picks up the heart of the Melingor and takes a big bite out of it. And the blood from the heart kind of like drips down his beard and over some of his clothes and like splatters across the table in front of you guys. And he munches it and takes some time to savour the flavour. And you see some rejuvenative effects kind of flow through him. You guys know that this meat has the effect of a spell. He did not know this, but you see him a bit of life. He kind of stands up slightly straighter. Some of the wrinkles fade slightly as he munches down on the big bite that he took out of the heart. And he takes some time to fully eat it. And he swallows it. And he places the rest of it back down on the plate. I, Ingvar, King of the Dwarves, Eater of the Heart of the Melingor, Beast Slayer, Commander of the Dwarven Legions, proclaim myself a king. And lots of things happen at the same time. There's a big cheer from the crowd, mostly the dwarves. There are a few people here who aren't dwarves, not very many, but mostly dwarves. Let out a big raucous cheer. They kind of like raise their mugs of ale, cheer in happiness and delight. The door slams shut to the room, and you hear from your right where the king is. So I imagine you guys aren't really looking at him, and it would be a bit awkward to kind of like be turning to look at him. So I imagine you guys are kind of looking out across the room, probably a little bit pissed off that he's portraying things slightly differently as well. As you're not looking at him, you hear kind of like a strangled kind of shout of surprise, I guess, from the king. And the cheers from the crowd kind of, almost as soon as they started, turn into kind of faces of shock and horror from the people in the crowd. It's really weird if they go from looking really happy to looking scared. Pale faces, wide eyes. Their mouths go from kind of like open in a cheer to just like dropped in faces of shock. As you turn and you see that one of the catering staff behind the king, what was a dwarf, is now very much not a dwarf. They have grown maybe about 4 or 5 feet to the height of a slightly above tall humanoid. The clothing that they were wearing has gone from plain catering staff kind of attire, like a white kind of apron with like maybe a belt around their waist, to some sort of black tuxedo styled outfit. And their face has gone from that of a dwarf, be that, a slightly tanned white from a black to a, dwarves can be any colours that humans can be. So whatever particular skin colour this dwarf was, it has changed from whatever it was to a deep purple. The eyes have gone red, black orbs of red. And he has intricate markings across his whole face. And the next thing you notice is that its mouth has been completely split wide open. It's open maybe 4 foot from kind of top to bottom, taking up most of the form of this figure. As it's kind of like the jaw is just completely dropped. From, you seen like what's it called? The green face dude. Do you remember that movie where his jaw drops?
Oh yeah.
What is it? What's it called?
Um.
Oh no.
All I can
It's got
think
Jim
is The
Carrey
Mask.
in it.
Yeah,
The
Jim
Mask.
Carrey in it.
Yeah.
The Mask. Yes.
That was the right film.
It's like that. The massive maw is open to reveal a toothless mouth. However, there is a tongue that is currently latched around the belly of the king and has just kind of like yanked him back slightly from where he was speaking. And as you turn and you see this, Janice, you kind of hear something from behind you to your left, as you hear some tearing of clothes, and you kind of like glance around. You see that there is another one behind you to the left. This catering staff has also turned into one of these creatures. And everyone roll me a real quick perception.
We'll see.
No.
23.
23. I'm going to be taking an average here.
Ooh, nat 20
Natural 20,
for a 24.
a 24, a 23,
You had to let everybody down. 12.
a 12.
Ah.
Okay, it's absolutely fine though, because you are all perceptive together enough that you will see a couple more demons appear in the crowd. If you can see on the map, there is 2 behind you at the main desk. There is 1 to the table to your left. There is 1 down here amongst the masses, and there is 2 on the other side against the rest amongst the rest of the masses.
I
And
just
one behind,
cleaned
the one behind the Dwarven King, as I said, has its tongue latched around the belly of Ingvar. And we'll go for an initiative from everyone, please.
Oh,
Difficult.
got 4.
And I guess this would be the time to also ask you guys, have you been ingesting alcohol during the feast?
Ah, shit. Yeah.
Mm,
Probably.
Now, be fair, okay, how much alcohol do you think you have drank?
How much would have Janus eaten? I'd say probably 2.
2 drinks?
2. Yeah, 2 drinks.
Okay. Give me 1 constitution saving throw, please. Would anyone else have been drinking alcohol at the feast?
15.
Ivelios would have been drinking sort of good spirit, but in very small quantities. Really, he just had one off to one side while he was looking at the potion that Strongarm gave him.
I'll leave it up to you. Do you
So.
think it would be enough to warrant a constitution saving throw?
Probably.
Okay.
He has
give me a
also
constitution
eaten
saving throw as well.
food, so
That one.
Oh no.
that one.
Oh dear. Bellerin,
Yep.
would you have been drinking or just dancing? Would you have been drinking
So I
in between the
think-
dances?
I think he probably had like 1 glass of wine quite early on
Okay.
and kind of drank it quite quickly before going to dance with everybody.
Okay.
I don't know if he would have had much food before.
Yeah.
So I'll have I been dancing long enough to
It's been
Dunno.
about an hour. It's been over an hour of meeting activities before the king was going to give his speech. It's been quite a while. So again, I'll leave it up to you. Do you think you've drank enough to warrant a Constitution saving throw?
I just want to do one. Yeah, sure,
Okay.
why not?
So we had a natural
feel
one
like he's
from
probably
Avelios.
Quite a lightweight, actually.
Okay.
Despite his bravado, I feel like he probably doesn't drink very much because, like, in case
Okay.
he gives stupid things away. So, it's my concentration. Yeah, 17.
Oh, 17. Okay. So,
Worth it.
Janus and Hal, you guys are not drunk. You didn't drink enough to really break past your limits. However, Velios, you were maybe a bit too.
Sorry.
You're maybe a bit too focused on the new potion that you may have drank a little bit more than you thought you had. So you're gonna
Yeah,
have.
he kept putting it down and it kept getting refilled and he just didn't notice because he wasn't paying attention.
Your catering staff are good like that. At least some of
The
them
ones
are.
that are demons.
Yes,
Oh, the demons were refilling it because they knew.
maybe. You have
All right.
one level of drunkenness. So in my campaigns, it's going to be just a flat one minus to everything from one level of being drunk. No, that's
Alrighty.
exhaustion. It's a flat -1 to saving throws and attack rolls.
Right.
But you have a +2 to
Okay.
charisma checks
All right.
for being drunk, for the first level of being drunk.
-1 to attacks and saves.
Yep.
And +2, did you say?
+2 to charisma rolls. Checks
Plus
and saving throws as well.
charisma. Gotcha.
Okay. So, I will need one from both of these guys. Beleric, what was your initiative roll, please?
It's 16.
Okay. Evelios, what was your initiative roll?
Also 16.
Who has I assume you would have a high dexterity.
I believe so, yes.
Yeah, so that
14.
would be
20.
16.5 for you.
You got me there.
We have the initiative. Would you guys like to have a break now? Toilet break, bio break, drinks break, and then we can get back into the events of the feast.
Sounds like a
Good.
plan.
Sounds good. Well, we'll be back in approximately 5 minutes on the stream.
Let's me devour this thing.
Eric Lythe, having been abandoned in the forest as a baby, he survived by joining with the very essence of nature. He's been fighting in the war against demons every day for 120 years, even rumored to have slain 200,000 in 1 week. He is always working, ever watching, forever protecting.
My name is Beleric Morgamash, but you've probably heard of me. I'm a half-orc from the north, but I've been in Alarians for most of my adulthood. You'll know my tales, of course. Warbreaker and the Siren's Curse. Or if those are unfamiliar to you, surely you can't have missed the King's public addresses, penned by yours truly. Be sure to keep an ear out for me, and you know where I am if you hear anything interesting. I'm certainly interested.
I am Ivar, formerly the commander of the Bastion's forces. Now, I seek a way to redeem the loss of the Great Wall, and to return my family to its honourable position once more. For money, influence or power, I will do whatever it takes, and earn my name back.
Evelios Oakenhill is a half-elven gentleman and sea dog who graduated the Imperial Academy as an alchemist in his younger days. And though he is most well known as the daring captain of the legendary privateer and sea demon hunter, The Inevitable Demise, the piratical alchemist, as he is known, is still rumored to be the driving force behind some of Aleria's most recent alchemical innovations.
Janus Ricot, a human boy raised into nobility by his lesser-known knightly parents, forged into a soldier to fight against demonkind, a hero to the common folk as well as their protector, a paragon to fellow soldiers and bane to all demons, general of the 7th Army and Archdemon's plight, Bellum's demise and the slayer of war, the Warbreaker.
alive. Having been abandoned in the forest as a baby, he survived by joining with the very essence of nature. He's been fighting in the war against humans every day for 120 years, even rumored to have slain 200,000 in 1 week. He is always working, ever watching, forever protecting.
My name is Beleric Morgamash, but you've probably heard of me. I'm a half-orc from the north, but I've been in Alarians for most of my adulthood. You'll know my tales, of course. Warbreaker and the Siren's Curse. Or if those are unfamiliar to you, surely you can't have missed the King's public addresses, penned by yours truly. Be sure to keep an ear out for me, and you know where I am if you hear anything interesting. I'm certainly interested.
I am Ivar, formerly the commander of the Bastion's forces. Now, I seek a way to redeem the loss of the Great Wall, and to return my family to its honourable position once more. For money, influence or power, I will do whatever it takes and earn my name back.
Ivelios Oakenheel is a half-elven gentleman and sea dog who graduated the Imperial Academy as an alchemist in his younger days. And though he is most well known as the daring captain of the legendary privateer and sea demon hunter, the Inevitable Demise, the piratical alchemist, as he is known, is still rumoured to be the driving force behind some of Aleria's most recent alchemical innovations.
Janus Ricot, a human boy raised into nobility by his lesser-known knightly parents, forged into a soldier to fight against daemonkind, a hero to the common folk as well as their protector, a paragon to fellow soldiers and bane to all demons, general of the 7th Army and Archdemon's plight, Bellum's demise and the slayer of war, the Warbreaker.
Let's go back.
Can I
Absolutely.
ask, when
Let's
you
not go
said
back.
Eric Live. Having been abandoned in the forest as a baby, he survived by joining with the very essence of nature. He's been fighting in the war against humans every day for 120 years, even rumoured to have slain 200,000 in 1 week. He is always working, ever watching, forever protecting.
My name is Beleric Morgamash, but you've probably heard of me. I'm a half-orc from the north, but I've been in Alarians for most of my adulthood. You'll know my tales, of course. Warbreaker and the Siren's Curse. Or if those are unfamiliar to you, surely you...
Alrighty.
We're back. Now, the funny thing is, the demon that currently has its tongue wrapped around Ingvar rolled a 22 on its initiative, which means it's going first,
Oh no.
which
Yeah.
was not what I expected. However,
We don't have Wilston here and his insane reflexes.
so the demon is going to stand still. You guys see that its feet is planted firmly in the floor, and it begins reeling its tongue back into its mouth. At a pretty rapid rate, this tongue is moving about as quickly as those with 30 feet movement can walk. And Ingvar goes with it. Right into the maw of the demon.
Oh,
And the maw closes, shuts.
no.
Uh-oh.
And then the demon vanishes.
What? Oh no, we've lost 2 kings. Oh no.
oh no.
What did you...
Just
when
imagining
you
a really
say
drunk Helios being like, "Whoa,
vanishes. Yeah, it when you say vanishes.
Make me an Arcana check. That's what I'm about to do with Ivar. Anyone who can cast spells
Alrighty.
can make me an Arcana check.
I got a 2.
23.
23.
12. Wasn't
Okay.
really paying attention.
So Ivar, I don't even know if he has fairy fire. I don't think he does. But you guys, no, what did you all say, Hal? A 12?
Probably
hear
further
you.
forward.
I didn't hear what you said. Sorry, you cut out.
12, but I think my
12.
attention was probably further forward than
Yeah.
what was happening behind. So.
Ivar and Ivelios, you guys can recognize that it wasn't necessarily the instant disappearing of like a plane shift or a teleportation skill. It was more kind of fading from the feet upwards very, very quickly that might indicate an invisibility spell. And at which point, Ivar, he's going to turn around. He has a very conflicted look on his face. But I guess he's just going to throw a fireball at exactly where he saw the creature last. Which is going to miss. And there's now a scorch mark in the wall behind him, around here. And after him, there is 2 demons. Both of them, I believe, are ones in the crowd. And they're just going to cause chaos. Both of them, their tongues are going to lash out at random people within the crowds. And again, encircle them and drag them towards their maws and swallow them. Creating chaos there, screaming, making unearthly demonic noises. And then Avelios, it's your turn.
Oh, is there... First of all, can I double check your ruling on potions as... Are they all bonus actions? Is it just healing potions?
Just healing potions.
Just healing potions.
They
Radio.
are in a lighter glassware. All the other glasses have to be thicker and heavier because they are more chemically unsound.
Yeah, okay. In which case, there are still liquid on the table. There's still like drinks and such like.
They've just been pushed to the side.
I'm gonna grab the nearest flagon of something like ale or just a large volume, and I'm reach for it with one hand, and as I do so, my other hand goes to my belt, and I'm gonna use my. Actually, no, I'm gonna hold off on my belt for the minute. I'm gonna reach out and grab a flagon in one hand, and just throw the contents in like a big arc, in front of where the demon that vanished with the king was.
Okay.
Just so it flies through the air. See if I can spread it out and see if it hits anything.
It sounds like it will be a 15-foot cone type ability. So, are you going to move before you do this? Do you want to position it on the map where you're doing it?
Yeah, cones. How do I draw a cone?
No shame.
You go on the left. You go to the ruler, and then there's like a 2 arrow. It's like a arrow that's pointing left. Cone template.
Yeah.
And then you can do that.
First of all, excellent. I'd move alongside Ivar, and then just hook it in, sort of like that kind of area.
Yep. Okay.
Just in a.
Okay.
See if it hits anything.
Yes. So are you aiming to like reveal it, or are you aiming to count as a hit to disable invisibility?
To basically see if any of it falls oddly or just distorts the air in a way that I can pinpoint where it is.
So that's what you're looking for. In that case, yes, the stream of liquid is going to part, revealing that there is something blocking the liquid from going. Can you see that?
Yep.
Going there.
Radio. How do I get rid of this?
I can do that.
Yeah.
Oh, you can do that.
Spot on. I know how this system works. Alrighty. And then I'm presuming to throw that counts as a full action, not just my object interact.
Yes, I think so. Yeah.
Yeah, that's
It's kind
fair
of
enough.
like an attack motion, I think.
Yeah, that makes sense to me. In which case, I am going to. Uh, da, 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 da. Yeah, just use the rest of my movement to. Rest of my movement to jump up onto the table
Okay.
and just sort of get some high ground. Really.
Lovely. Beleric, then you're next in the turn order.
Okay. Does the now that Ivalios has like splashed this purple fella,
Yeah, we'll
does
say.
that count as something I can see?
Yeah, we'll say now that you can see that there is something there, because it's technically happening at the same time together. So yeah, we'll say that you can see that where that circle is on the map, there is something blocking the liquid from going there.
Brilliant. In which case, how many of the other demons have like eaten people?
3. No, 2.
Right.
2 so far.
Okay. Do I want to do that? Yeah, sod it, why not? I'm gonna, because I can, I'm gonna climb up onto the table because Avelios did it and it looked cool. So I'm gonna clamber up after him. And the 3 that have apparently just ingested a whole person, I'm going to yell, drop, and cast command on them.
Okay.
And I would let's try and get them
So
to
that's on
drop
the one that
there.
ingested the king, and the other 2 that ingested people in the crowd.
Yeah.
Okay.
So cast it at 3rd level so that it goes to 3 thingies.
Is
it's a
that
wisdom save.
Wisdom save. Okay.
Yeah.
Do these guys have? You do. Wisdom saving through. We've got 3 of them. Right. Well, the first one got a natural 20. The second one got an 8.
Yes.
And the third one got a natural 1. So the one who has the king in its belly got a natural 20. The one over here on the right hand side and the other one over here both failed. So does that take effect on their turn, I believe?
On its next turn, yeah.
Lovely. So remind me of that when we come around to the top of the turn order. Next, there is the ex-member of the catering staff behind you, Janice, whose
Hello.
mouth is also going to open and a tongue lashes out towards you. With a 14 to hit you. Okay. The tongue kind of like laps against your armor, making it a little bit dirty, covered with a little bit of demon slobber, which is not particularly nice, as it just kind of like licks up your back, and that's its turn. The next one is the one over here at this table, and its tongue is gonna open its mouth again, and its tongue is gonna launch 40 feet across the room towards you and go for the same thing. With a 20.
Oh, yep.
Yep. In that case.
Oh, but reaction shield.
Okay. What's your armor at the moment? What's your armor class? You've got your plate mail on, right? You don't have your shield?
Yep. So armor class is 20, and then with shield it'd be
25. Okay.
Yeah.
Damn.
So Genesis just sat there at the table, still enjoying bits of food. He's just been licked. Then he kind of turns around to be like, what the fuck? And you see a tongue lashing out towards you, and you just like smash it away with a arcane covered gauntlet. And that's that one. And then this one in the crowd is going to eat another passersby. Ingvar. He's already in the mouth. He cannot do anything. Janus, it's your turn.
Nice. So I also know this guy's over here.
Yes. Just
Cool.
be safe for now. At the end of this round, you're going to lose track of him.
We move, and I'm going to slash at that area.
You stand up.
And
Yeah, you stand up. Dodge around the king's throne. Are you going to do anything else, or are you going to recklessly attack? Are you raging, or?
we rage and we reckless. 26 and a 11. Oh, jeez.
Lovely. So you go into a rage, and the burning embers ignite in your sword. And you go for a slice straight through the air, hitting something. Roll damage on the first one.
Done that.
21. It's all fire damage, right? So you slice right across something, and you feel it colliding with something, but you haven't really used many other weapons before. However, you do remember a long time ago when you were training, you were testing out different weapons, and you remember using bludgeoning weapons. Like you've used a club before, Warhammer. It feels like you've just hit something with a blunt weapon. And you've hit the creature, so the invisibility is going to drop. And you can see the form of the demon with a little bulge in its belly reappear. However, it has no visible wounds.
Okay.
Are you going to do anything else?
We are going to fuck it, action surge. Take this guy down. Recklessly again, 21 and a 16.
Both of them hit.
19 and 21.
2 slashes, again, across the back of the creature as it's trying to slink away. It's kind of like dropped into a half crouch as it was going to sneak away under invisibility. And again, they both hit, but they leave no marks on the creature.
Okay. And then
They maybe scorch its clothes slightly. It's got tears across its black tuxedo.
and that is my turn.
Okay. The one that you just attacked, the one that has the king inside of his belly, turn around, hisses, a little bit their tongue kind of like dances out. And it speaks. What languages do you speak, Janus?
I speak Common and Elvish, that's it.
Okay. So, in both languages at the same time, you hear the creature say to you, "You don't want to attack me, do you?" Make a wisdom saving throw.
Oh, Christ.
So cool.
Got a 3.
Oh no.
Oh no.
You're now under the effects of the spell Charm Person.
Oh, no.
So you're charmed. You can't attack this creature or target it with like harmful effects or abilities. And it has advantage against, well, that doesn't really matter. Yeah, you can't attack it. You can't like throw a fireball to injure it. You just can't try and directly harm this creature. 1 second. Yes. So it says that, and it turns back around and drops back into a crouch, and you see it try and cast something, try and cast a spell again, but it doesn't work. As it's going to kind of like go towards the edge of the room, flatten itself back up against the wall, and just slink 30 feet away. Can you get rid of this, please? There you go. Ivar's going to look out across the crowd. He does not like his father at all. However, the people of Rulem, his kin, his dwarven friends, he does care about them. So, ignoring the fact that his father is in danger at the moment, he is going to stand up on the table, places 1 foot upon the table, brings himself up onto it, and he is going to, if it would work, he is going to rush over to the nearest person in the crowd. Because this one has just eaten someone, and he's going to launch. What kind of spells does he have? He's just going to use a firebolt. She launches it through the people in the crowd, and it splashes over the back of the demon to no effect, and he lets out a dwarven curse. And that's the end of his turn. So this one in the crowd, the mouth is going to open, and the dwarven person that it just ingested drops out of its mouth covered in its saliva and bits of the feast.
I'm so sorry. There was a distance for this. It wasn't just if they can hear me.
That's
So
right. We'll pretend it was fine. We don't want to go back and disrupt things, but yeah, it's all it's all good. I should
move
have
a little bit
probably
further
known
forward
that.
if I need to. But
I should have known that as a DM anyway.
so
Yeah, and regurgitate the commoner. And the other one's going to do the same thing, and I believe they take their whole turn to do that. Due to command.
Yeah, they follow
I
to
assume it
the
would just
best
take their
effect
action.
and then end their turn.
Yeah. And then Avelios, it's your turn now.
Why
Could
must
have moved over.
everybody be so obsessed with flame? And I'm going to leap off of the table and
Nice, graceful, acrobatic movements through
Yeah.
the air.
now, am I close enough to be mellow? Or do I need to be practically touching? Yep.
Mm-hmm.
Good. I leap off the table, and as I do so, clip a green potion, pull out my rapier, clip a green vial from the bottom, and slam it into the hilt of my rapier as I land directly in front of this thing and go, sorry. And I'm going to channel thunder as a booming blade to this thing's throat.
Go for it. Roll me an attack, please, good sir.
That's a nat 20.
Ooh.
Wow.
Is that affected by my -1 to hit, or does it
you
still
take
count as
the
a nat 20?
-1, but it doesn't affect the natural 20. You
Yeah,
just add
that's
all your
still
modifiers, and then
it's a 29 to hit rather than 30. But
yes, which does not make the slightest bit of difference. I'll tell you that much.
Yep. And then, owing to the fact that it's just me and him, I get a delightful sneak attack. So double check that one, and I get max damage anyway, don't I? And then
You get max damage on
Cool.
all of the original dice, and then you get to roll all the dice again,
yep. So
and then you plus all
That.
your modifiers.
yep. So that's delightful. Oh, and then I'll add my acid damage on top of that as well. But then okie dokie. This is where's the number at the end? 107 points of damage.
Sir.
Jesus Christ. Well, he's gonna die.
As I slam it through, and a thunderbolt erupts right from the base. And as it does so, it takes the acid that would usually pour down the blade, but instead just forces it up and through this creature's just jawline.
So it doesn't do as much damage as you would expect. He appears to be maybe resistant to the damage type of your sword, However, you do
It's
enough damage
magical, if that.
to kill him anyway. Your sword's magical? Never mind then.
My sword is magical.
Never
So,
mind. He's not resistant. Either way, he's going to die.
yep, just obliterate him, and then stand over it and go, "Told you I was sorry."
Well then, he is dead. However, there are still many more. Belric, you're
Yeah.
next.
The king get thrown up or anything?
Not yet.
Okay, gross. Okay, I'm going to take Ivar's lead. And I forgot to measure. What am I doing? I'm so sorry. Oop. I'm gonna come all the way into the dance floor. We will, if I can work out how to do that. There we go. And as I go, the necklace still on the table.
No one told me they picked it up.
Great. I would
However,
love to take that with me.
there is still a crowd of people, but you can take it by all means.
That's fine.
Yep.
Acceptable casualties.
It's fine. And could you remind me, are the doors made of stone or wood?
Stone.
Okay, no one. Well, got a cool necklace.
You have a necklace
Just
that
for
contains a 9th level fireball.
just for accessories.
I must look pretty whilst saving the day.
I mean, yeah, I'm gonna tell stories of this. I'm going to, as I'm running forward, I'm going to yell just aimlessly, "Get out of here as quick as you can, straight for the door," and just hope that that has some effect on some of the Muppets if they've stayed still.
No, they haven't. I just forgot to say that they were moving out of the way.
To kind of
Basically,
assume that
every on 20 initiative counter, people are running away. There's already been a bunch of people that have streamed out of the room. They smashed the doors open, and people are running away. They're clearing space around the demons as well. So if you would like to throw some ranged attacks, AoE attacks, as long as it is massive, you should be able to avoid most casualties.
Okie dokie, cool.
Anything else?
Yes, I'm going to cast. How big is this? They're too far away. I'm going to cast. Yes. Oh, how far's that way? I'm going to cast. I hope this is gonna work. Shatter, and I would like to cast it here, in front of this table, with the hope that the table's gonna push back this fella.
Okay.
Just clonk him a bit. I don't know if that's gonna work at all, but
We'll find out. You want to pop it in the chat? I can see what it does. What is it? Constitution save, right?
Yeah.
Constitution saving through. You rolled a 12.
Well, actually, it might catch them as well. Dominant aim is the table. 12 fails.
Yep.
So that is
So you're going to definitely hit him with the damage.
that's
So
3d.
yeah, it's definitely going to hit the table. It's going to shatter the table, and we're going to have some bits of wood flying into him. So
Grand.
roll me a d6.
What?
4, and there will be 4d4, and that'll be how many splinters impact this fella.
Amazing. And
So that's 12 from the wood. How much damage was it from the spell itself?
The spell itself was 16.
Lovely. So yeah, the crackling energy of the shatter kind of imbues the wood with some of its magical powers, and for all intents and purposes makes it a magical piercing attack for now. Anything else?
I'm going to. Can I do that? Am I too far away? Probably. Oh, I'm sorry. Yeah, I'm going to yell at Evelios. I love doing that. And say, "Come on, man, you really didn't have that much to drink. Get over yourself." And bardically inspire him.
Ooh. Okay, lovely. So, when you finished off the one that swallowed the king, they all kind of collectively let out a hiss and started spitting in rage and anger. The one that attacked you, Janus, is going to walk over right next to you, completely ignore you, and lash out his tongue on his fallen companion, which is going to hit, and his tongue is going to grapple him and pull him 30. Is that close enough? Yeah, that's going to pull him right into his mouth. 30 feet in one turn. As he swallows the corpse of his dead ally, which still has the king inside of it.
It's going to be a clown car.
Pardon?
Oh.
It's going to turn into a clown car.
And this time the belly is slightly more swollen than the first one's was.
Right.
And yeah, it's going to do that. So that one's going to be invisible because he's in that one's belly. This guy's going to go over for some backup. This zone doesn't do anything after you've cast the spell, right?
No, I'm trying to work out how to get rid of it.
I can do that for you if I can just get through some of the tabs that I've got open on my screen right now.
Or it can be a reminder that the table's broken.
Yes, sadly already have removed it. Yeah, they're just going to go for a tongue on you as well. It wraps around the back of your plate armor, Janus, and slides off again, as it doesn't like the taste of metal. Not today. Who's this fella? This one. He's also going to walk over towards where the king was, completely ignoring the remnants of the people running away. Kind of like looks around, notices that one of his mates has already done a nice little swallowing thing, and the tongue is going to lash out towards you, Velius.
Oh, delightful.
With a 26 to hit you.
Oh,
Silver
Well,
barbs.
of course. Oh.
Silvery barbs, was that?
Yeah.
Well, that would be a 14.
That, my dear fellow, misses.
Lovely. So the tongue lashes over and just licks all the way up your waistcoat, ruining whatever value it might have had.
Silvery barbs is going to be.
Beast.
I am dinner first.
Lovely. He's currently inside a belly still. Janus, it's your turn. The one that's killed you is the one that charmed you is dead.
nice.
And it is concentration, right? Yeah, it's dead. The spell's gone.
Well, in that case, I attack the one that's next to me then.
Mm-hmm.
Recklessly. 27 and a 15.
Okay, the first one hits.
That would be 17.
Yep. Again, your great sword. The blade of it swipes across the form of the creature, but does not do any damage. It doesn't open a wound or scorch the skin underneath the clothing.
That is my turn, I believe.
Any movement, bonus actions, weapon
Nope.
switching.
Oh, we're sitting next to him.
Okay. That guy's dead. Ivar's gonna make a. Do you want to make a survival check for me as well, Dennis, or like an intelligence check, an intelligence roll? I think.
Intelligence. Okay.
Yes.
Got a 9. I've been getting so many 9s on these checks.
Well, okay. I've got a 26, so he's clocked on. Fire doesn't work, guys. And he shouts out to everyone. Hit them with something else.
Nice of him to notice.
And then he puts his palms together and shoots out a. Well, Earthen Grasp's a fun one, isn't it? And yes, an earthen fist kind of like shoots up from the rocky floor underneath this fellow over here. And he makes a strength save. And he rolled a 20. Which means nothing happens. Okay. The stone fist shoots forward and like smashes on impact, breaks around him, and then reforms on the other side, ready to be used again next turn. Initiative count 20. More people leave the arena. At this point, these guys are all pretty much not within range of anyone if you're casting any AoE spells. This guy's going to go over and try and join in the fun. Kind of bounds over the table and their tongue, Beleric, is coming for you.
Yeah.
It is not. It rolled a natural 1. So it kind of like goes to lash its tongue at you as it's jumping over the table, but it miscalculated the momentum and like actually catches it with its fingers, puts its tongue on the table and then like stands on it as it's like leaping over, and it kind of like tumbles down into a roll across the floor and it's prone at the moment. This one here. And then who's this fella? This guy. Just. There's going to be another tongue flying towards you. Well, the first tongue that you've noticed flying towards you. A 16.
Was this that? Sorry.
You.
Oh no. 16. Yeah, gets me.
16 gets you. Okay. You will take a lovely 18 points of bludgeoning. So it would be 6, 7. It would be 15 bludgeoning and 7 piercing. As some kind of like the barbs on its tongue dig into your flesh as it kind of like wraps around you. Make a... No, this isn't one of these. So you're grappled as the tongue kind of like wraps and interlocks itself around your arms. When you're dragged across the dance floor 30 feet.
Evacuate the dance floor.
And then Avelios, it's your turn.
You said it was it this one that had a hold of Beleric, sorry?
No, it's this one down here at the bottom.
Oh, right
This
the way
one.
down the bottom. Yep,
Yep.
Scream was zoomed in too far.
The one that was 90 foot away from him.
Yep. Well, in which case, yep. And this one still has the king inside because it swallowed the other one. Yep.
That one does, yes.
Yep.
The one right above Janus.
In which case, I'm going to look at Janus and go, "You've got this right." And Bryn jump across the table and sail down the stairs, just sort of missing them out altogether, and reversing the grip on my rapier and just slamming it through the face, hopefully, of the one at the bottom of the stairs.
Lovely. Go for it. Roll your attack.
18 to hit.
An 18 hits.
Woo! Hell yeah. The rolls. damage. Right here. That is.
You look curious. How?
Yep.
What are you thinking about?
Thinking takes a lot of effort for me.
Oh, same,
Uh,
same.
34 points of mixed magical, piercing, and thunder damage.
Okay. The rapier pierces straight through, makes a nice clean cut through its abdomen. When you pull it back out, it's a bloodied creature now. It's below half health, but it is still standing.
How very uncouth. And I'm going to use my bonus action to dash another 30 feet in Beloric's direction.
The eyes of the demon glint. It's like, oh, I get to attack you, but it doesn't.
Yep.
Got its hopes up for a second.
It goes to attack me just as I walk onto the edge of the dance floor, and as I do so, my heels just slip and I pirouette 3 times in perfect succession away from it, just avoiding the claws.
Lovely.
Still got it.
So, you're currently grappled, Beloric. Your speed is 0, but that's the only thing that's really affecting you. So, what would you like to do?
How far away? 6. There. Haha. Okay. I'm going to apologize in advance for this. I'm going to. I'm so sorry. Given that my arms are completely like kind of grappled to my side, I'm going to look straight at the demon. And there was going to be like a moment of just about to scream, and then like a light bulb happens, and I'm going to just turn and look, make very deliberate eye contact at this demon. Go, joke's on you, I'm actually really into this. And cast unsettling words. I'm so sorry.
Oh no!
The love unsettling words.
This is
It
where
had to be suitably unsettling. So.
this is
That
where it
was
fails, and the
wonderful.
demon's like, "Oh yeah."
Well, the unsettling words
What did
automatically.
it do?
That's a thing. So, as a bonus action, you can expend 1 use of your bardic inspiration and choose 1 creature you can see within 60 feet of you. Roll the bardic inspiration die, and the creature must subtract the number rolled from the next saving throw it makes before the start of your next turn. So,
Okay, you want to roll your d6?
I shall indeed. Is it a d8? Because.
Yeah, sorry.
Yeah.
Yeah.
8.
An 8. Okay.
Dang.
And because that's the bonus action,
Yeah.
I'm going to, just for extra horrificness, I'm going to cast a psychic glance at it, and kind of give it a moment of a look and be like, no, you shouldn't enjoy that, and then psychically lance it.
Oh.
Lurik on his way to King Shame a demon.
Intelligence saving throw.
-8.
Well, it rolled a 21. A 22, sorry. -8. We'll bring that to a 14. So it fails.
Fails.
Roll your damage.
So, oh no. Wait, where's my calculator? Right.
That was wonderful.
Just realised I've also incapacitated it
Yes.
until the start of my next turn, so we're both just kind of locked in this really awkward standoff now. So, I count. Wah. Okay. That is 26 points of damage.
Okay. Yeah, it doesn't really matter what type for this one. 26 points of damage. As its tongue
So
goes a
sorry,
little bit
everybody.
rigid. And like its arms kind of like drop.
Played myself.
I shouldn't have said that. Well, yes, so it's incapacitated until the start of its next turn, so it can't take actions or reactions. Yes. It can still move, I believe. Right. Janus, the demon that's in front of you. I'll not say what I was about to say. Places his hand upon his chest and disappears.
Oh fuck. Well, is it my turn or?
Nope, it's its turn.
Okay.
And then there is this one that's behind you that's been trying to lick you in the back. She's kind of sick of drying this, so it's going to walk up to you. And like it's going to like quick draw a pistol in a western. It like reaches down by its hip and kind of like lashes its hand up across you, and three beams of fire dance towards your back for an 11, a 14, and an 8.
Damn.
You kind of parry them with your sword, and it absorbs into the energy that your sword contains. And that was that guy. That's that guy. And then there's this guy that you just attacked, Avelios, who's going to go for a. He's going to try and bully back. He's going to go for a get over here moment with a natural 20 for a 27 to hit you.
Oh.
I dodge right into it.
Okay. So that one is 16 piercing, 16 bludgeoning, plus 4. So that's 36. Plus
Uncanny dodge.
31.
The whole thing.
So 35. 38. 40,
Stop adding numbers, please.
51. Mixed bludgeoning and piercing.
Uncanny dodge 26. Thank God for that.
And you're grappled. It's one that you escape on your turn. It's not. It's not when it hits you.
Yeah, I look down and be like, disgraceful.
And
Really?
you say that, it's like a comic book moment as you're yanked backwards off the dance floor.
Yep.
And you get close enough to it.
Oh
and it's
no.
going to start putting you in its mouth.
Oh no.
Janus, it's your turn.
Huh. Right, I'm gonna switch my longsword +1. Goodbye, demony sword. And I'm gonna slash at the air where that previous demon was. Recklessly, of course, 18 and 17.
Yep, your sword swing through the air. It is seemingly no longer there.
Shit. In that case, can't do fuck all. I just get closer to this guy.
The guy behind you.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's all I can do.
There's loads of things you can do as a fighter. You know, you don't have to just attack. You can do like shove actions, grapple actions. You can knock people down. There's loads of things that you can do.
Oh, I want to shove this demon then.
So when you take the multi-attack action, you can replace attacks with shoves or grapples or.
Okay.
I don't know what it's called for the one where you knock someone down. But you can knock someone prone.
I think it's a shove can knock someone back, or they can knock someone prone.
Or you can grapple. You can replace attacks with some of these things.
Yeah, can I replace my second
Grr.
attack then?
Yeah, if you want. So you swing your longsword through the air. You know that it doesn't hit anyone, so you probably wouldn't swing again because you know that they're not there.
Yeah, I want to try and shove this demon down then, if I can.
Yeah, go for it. You turn around, and it's a contested strength or athletics or acrobatics check.
Let me check. Do I get advantage on that?
If you do an athletics one, you will.
Athletic as it is.
You need to beat
24.
16. Lovely. So you just turn around, and with your offhand, you kind of like slam it in its face and push it down to its knees, and it falls onto the floor prone.
Now that's my turn.
Okay. Ivar is going to try and assist you with the one that's put you in its mouth, Ivelios. So in its mouth, you went from being grappled to incapacitated.
Oh, yay.
No, you went from grappled to being restrained.
Oh, yay.
However, Ivar is going to bring the hand back. So he's going to need to make another strength saving throw. Which succeeds, so the hand does not do anything. Sadly. Wait, no, I don't know how these spells work. I'm not a spellcaster. I play barbarians. Yeah, it's his action. Does he have any bonus actions? Not that he can use right now. Sadly. This one here is going to go for... You're causing some trouble up here. You've shoved his friend down. He's going to lash his tongue out at you, Janus.
Ooh.
Try and actually hit you. A 22.
Yeah.
Yep.
Gets me.
Okay, so the tongue wraps around your waist and starts pulling you back, and you can like smack into the table, and like you kind of like do a bit of a tumble, and it pulls you 30 feet towards him. You're grappled at the moment.
Is it this one that's for me?
It's this one here.
Okay.
And you'll take 11 bludgeoning damage and 6 slashing damage.
Is that halved already?
Nope.
That'll be numbers working my mind.
6 and 3.
Yeah, 9.
That was that guy. And we got this guy who their tongue is still going to pull you across the dance floor. As that isn't him doing anything, it's just him pulling his tongue in. It's not an action or a bonus action. But that's all he's going to do. That was that guy. Vilios, it's your turn now. You can try and escape if you would like.
Yes, please. How does one go about escaping from...
An athletics or an acrobatics. Or you can try and cut your way out with an attack if you would like.
I'll go for the acrobatic check, please.
Okay.
I'm going to add my bardic inspiration to this one.
Oh,
Okay. How will you have an inspiration, remember? If you would like to give it to other people, you can do stuff like that.
27 on my acrobatic.
Okay. Yeah, so you managed to slip out of the mouth. It's just about to shut behind you and seal your fate when you kind of like you reach one hand out and kind of like slip it out and can like pull the rest of you out by like pulling on the side of its mouth, pull the mouth open and slip out and kind of like flop out onto the floor.
I'll spend half of my movement to stand up, and then I'm going to use my bonus. Actually, yeah, I'm going to use my bonus action to load another vial of acid into my rapier. Just sort of shake myself off, just like That is incredibly inconvenient. Do you have any idea how much this is worth? Gesturing to my completely ruined waistcoat now. It's got like holes in places.
Yep.
Utterly outrageous. And that is my turn. That's
Okay.
my action, my bonus. I don't want to move regularly.
Fair enough. Beleric, then. It'll be your turn.
Can I try and get out of this?
Yeah,
Like,
it's
is it something that I can?
Yeah, it's a grapple. It's a athletics or acrobatics check.
I've got a feeling mine are both. Yeah. You know what? Actually, I'm going to carry on just bothering this person. Don't need my hands to do damage.
Person's a very nice word.
This citizen.
He's not a citizen.
I'm going to. I feel like I've already got a rapport with him, so
To
I
say
hate,
the
I
In
hate
least.
everything about this.
you demon, we go way back, all of 6 seconds.
I'm going to. I feel like this is a bit of a redundant question because it was all psychic damage, but is it looking like hurt's probably not the wrong word, but like
Yeah,
mentally messed up?
yeah, it's a bloodied creature. You can maybe see bits of whatever
The
was in its
nosebleed.
head is like coming out of its ears. Yeah, a bit of a nosebleed. It's bloodied. It's below half health.
Okay, cool. In which case,
Your
I'm going to.
perverted comments have eroded its brain.
It shouldn't have licked me. I feel like this was a reasonable response.
Oh,
But I am going to. Oh no, I can't move, can I? I was trying to
no, not when
build
you're
up the
grappled.
discomfort. That's fine.
You can't use movement to like move, but you can still like wriggle around if you want.
That's okay. I was going to just get closer to it to try and freak it out some more, but it's fine. I'm going to just kind of. I'll like lean closer and like. I hate everything about this. I'm going to cast Dissonant Whispers, and I really hate everything. I'm just going to kind of fill its brain with just really inappropriate, like everything, like noises, statements.
Oh yes, lick me more.
Yeah, like
Oh.
it's just going to be Elric just trying to make this thing's life a real living hell.
Give me more of
And
your
try and
tongue. Yes, yes.
try and
more.
discomfort it to death.
Yes, there's a wisdom save.
Yes.
I have just written down in my notes, Beleric is getting sexual with random demons.
Murder it to death.
Oh no. It just rolled the natural 20 on its wisdom saving throw.
Oh. Well, I've cast it at second level, and it takes half, I think. So yeah.
Go for it.
So
Give that a roll.
assume I still roll 4d6 and then half the number, or do I roll
Yes.
2d6?
You roll full damage and then it just takes half of it.
That makes sense. Bing. That wasn't bad.
Wasn't all bad.
Not bad. So it's a 19, but divided by 2, so
It's 10, because I round up.
10.
If it would work. There we go. Okay. And is that your turn?
Yeah, bonus action. She's gonna be like, "Why won't you die?"
Okay. This guy that you just ran away from, Janus, is a little bit annoyed that you keep running away from him. He's going to walk up to you. And
I didn't run away.
pardon?
I didn't run away.
Why are you down here? Oh no, you didn't.
Yeah, I got
you
pulled.
sucked away. He's also prone, which I forgot about. So he's going to stand up, step over the table, give you a little bit of a sneer.
They're gonna have a tug of war.
And I think most of his spells are actually touch. So yes, they'll go for a tug of war, actually. They're both quite hungry creatures. They both want a good meal. So you're grappled, which doesn't give anything like an advantage, so roll a 10. Yep. So it tries to steal the meal from its friend and fails at that. The one that's right in front of you, Ivelios, is going to reach out with one of its hands.
Mm-hmm.
Kind of caress the saliva on your waistcoat.
Oh,
Why are they all so creepy?
That is disgraceful. Quite frankly.
And an 11.
An 11 to hit?
Yes. Which I believe does not hit you.
Yeah, I said it misses. Sorry, did I cut
Oh
out?
yeah, you cut it out.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it kind of like picks.
That misses.
Its hand comes back from your waistcoat, covered in saliva. It has a very disappointed look on its face, and it kind of like flicks its hand to remove its own spit.
What were you expecting? It's slime.
Janus, now it's your turn.
that's me. I want to try and get out of this grapple.
Yep. Strength, athletics, or acrobatics.
Athletics
advantage.
advantage. 16.
Yep. All you needed was a 15. Take one under the tongue and rip it away from your beautifully pristine armor that you just cleaned.
That's all slimy now.
Mm-hmm. How
Can I
fucking disrespectful of them, huh?
Can I still attack or?
It's your action to escape the grapple, so you still have your bonus action and movement.
So that push knockdown thing I did, is that an action or a bonus action?
It's part of your multi-attack action.
Right, okay.
So you replace one of your attacks with a push or a shove or a grapple.
Well, I have no bonus actions, so I'm just gonna get close up to this guy.
Okay.
That's all I can really do.
That guy's. I'm just going to remove this guy because he's bloody dead. He's dead. The fist's going to continue trying to grasp the one that's in front of you, Avelios, to help you in your endeavours. And it fails again. Hell man. He's pretty happy where he is. No one's attacked him in a while. The one that just had its tongue around your waist, Janus. Its head does a bit of a twitch, as it. Yeah, its head kind of like twitches and its eyes kind of defocus from the room for a second, and then he also goes invisible.
Oh no!
Dang it!
The one that's got its tongue around you was the incapacitated for one turn. Beleric?
Yes, I would like to say.
I think it might have been.
Until the start of my next turn, yeah.
Yep, so it's no longer incapacitated.
Correct.
How far away are you from it? Yes, so it's going to try and eat you. Well, I'm not going to try and eat you.
They're not.
You are now in its mouth. And then it kind of like looks around. And oh, yeah, it's going to disappear as well.
Ah!
Ivelios, it is your turn.
Damn it! Damn it! Damn it! Ah! Yes. We'll have to work on that one. I'm gonna stop the one in front of me just to get rid of it.
Yep.
To begin with.
Go for it.
That is a 22 to hit.
Yep.
These are all with the -1 as well. It's fantastic.
I was hoping so.
Yeah. All righty.
This is how Belloc does.
40 points of damage.
Lovely. he is dead as well.
Fantastic. Gets him out the road. And
Yes.
then I'm going to look towards Janice and be like, "You've still got this, right?" And sprint, using my bonus action, sprint 60 feet down the hall.
Yep.
With a dash to get to where the demon that ate Belderuk was.
Yep. Speaking of, Beloruk, it's your turn. So you're now restrained. So your speed's still 0. Attacks against you have advantage. Your attacks have disadvantage. And you have disadvantage on dex saves. That's it for now.
Oh no. The physical attacks have disadvantage or all attacks?
Attack rolls have disadvantage.
Right, okay, what can I? That's gonna hurt me, but at this point, I think it's probably better than getting eaten. Okay, weird question. Does this, as I am inside an invisible creature, can I see the creature?
Yeah, you can.
9th level survival.
That would probably kill you both.
Yeah. Yeah, I've got the fire necklace on.
You do.
Work from inside? Still immune? Organs immune?
If it was immune on the outside, but I don't
It
know if that
was.
was
The
just skin.
Yeah.
Would you like to find
Belloc
out?
just pulls off one of the beads and is just like, "Oh god!"
Blows me up inside it. I won't do that.
You just see one of them just go.
I'm going to. It's gonna hurt me. No, I'm going to psychic glance it again. I feel
Is
like
that
that's
the wisdom save?
yes.
Yeah, roll a 10.
It fails.
Roll your damage.
Your damage. It's going to be. Doop 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 doop. Boop. It's going to be. Not the right number. 26.
Lovely. Well, it's dead as well. You cast it, and everyone in the room, you guys see one of the demons appear here. And it kind of like stumbles slightly as one of its hands reaches up to its head. And there's just like a stream of blood from its nose. Bits of internal head matter kind of like burst from its ears. And it kind of like face plants the ground. The mouth lolls open. Like its mouth kind of like gets stuck on the floor as it slides forwards, which opens its jaw, and Belleruk comes sliding out.
Emerge like, I hated that, I hated that.
You hear a faint whisper from the dead demon behind you. But I thought you enjoyed it.
In its face.
Okay, is that your turn?
Yeah, I think I'm gonna need the rest of my roll to recover.
Okay. Who is it now? This fella. And then the one that's right in front of you, Janus.
Hello.
Its head also kind of like does a bit of like a, you know, when dogs kind of like cock the head when they look confused. It does one of them. Eyes defocus for a second, and then and then it's gonna reach out and try and smack you across the face.
Rude.
For one more, please. A 10. Okay.
Nope.
It missed. It reaches out to smack you. You kind of dodge back out the way. I know, just a look of terror kind of overcomes it as it realizes its mistake. As it's your
Yeah,
turn.
done, goof.
As it's your turn.
I dag, I swing sword. Reckless. 18.
Mm-hmm.
11. Oh, fuck off.
First one hits.
Uh,
11, 13 counts as magical because it's a +1. He is extremely wounded. He's on the brink of dying.
Good. That is
Ivor
my turn.
kind of like looks around, sees that there's only one left alive, drops his spell that's managed to do absolutely fuck all.
Buddy.
That's rough, buddy.
Turns around, just waves his hand at the one that's in front of you. And
It explode.
well, it doesn't explode. However, it also disappears. Make me an Arcana check if you'd like.
Hell yeah. Come on.
17?
Okay.
I got 7.
I don't know if Bellerook would have really been looking, but you can roll.
No, I'm
Okay.
absolutely previously occupied, but thank you for
So
the.
this is a different type of disappearing act. The one that looks more like some sort of teleportation, plane shifting, something like that, as Ivar waves his hand. And for now, Ivar goes, well, I don't know where my father's gone. Any ideas? As he looks around at the rest of you. We'll be out of initiative for now.
By the sound of that.
Any way of tracking invisible creatures across the city?
Short of dropping glitter out of the sky? Not particularly. Sorry.
Oh, piss. That's unfortunate.
That is the most Ivar thing.
That's exactly what I was thinking.
I'm trying. I'm trying.
Oh man.
Impeccable.
It's about
That's-
this point that a dwarf appears in the doorway, and he kind of he's wearing the guard's armor. As he appears in the doorway, kind of like looks around frantically to see what's going on, and he kind of shouts, "Legends! Legends! There's an attack on the port. We need you to come quickly."
Son of a... Ivelios is out the door. As soon as he hears the word port, he is out the door.
Well then, I believe we shall call it there for today. Dun dun dun.
For a moment,
Shit, I...
I thought we were all going to get followed.
That's why.
Oh, those are fun creatures. I like the
They're
swallow.
awful.
Well, they have a very specific purpose, and they're very good at that very specific purpose. Well,
That's
presumably you don't have incredibly good ACs, and they all roll really poorly.
Yep. I didn't have any armor on at all that fight because I was wearing my posh outfit.
I'm so
Yes.
glad I kept my arm on.
If Ivelios is thinking to himself as he sprints to the docks, he's like, how can I fit more rivets inside my waistcoat?
Well, that'll be us for this session. Hopefully, when we're
Whew.
reconvening, we will have more people together as you have a Wilson to pick up as you dash past the dormitory. And I believe you have a Michael. Oh, fuck,
to think that Eric has like planted himself
Yes.
somewhere, and we'll just kind of like scoop him out like.
you have a mushroom to bring with you.
Yeah,
It's a
Eric
mushroom on
just
the way home.
planted himself like on the front steps in a pot that they gave him. Meanwhile, we run past the dormitory and Janus just reaches in and grabs Wilston. Funk.
Well, yeah.
Wilson will be confused because he's like, who is this guy in white armor?
Yeah.
Thank
Who are you? And why do you look like nobody I know?
Why are you so clean and so slimy?
Well, yeah. Thank you very much for anyone who came to watch us. Or saw a couple of
Oh,
people
man.
in chat over the course of the stream, which was lovely. Usually I get people in the chat. Thank you very much.
Hey,
Make sure to
People in the chat.
follow, subscribe, like, join our Discord.
all that good stuff.
That's what
I'm
I
so sorry
usually
for what you have
say.
witnessed.
Just realised something. Janus is white and slimy. Take that as you will.
Mm,
Where are you going with this?
Where are you going with this?
No,
Okay. But yes, thanks for everybody who came to watch. I believe we're on next week, right?
I believe so.
as far as I know,
In which case, we'll see you all next week for an attack on the docks. Bye bye.
if they hurt my boat, there will be a reckoning.
I
No.
wouldn't do that.